We're here with Julius from Bravo Zulu Consulting and learning a little bit about AI and machine learning. Julius, great to see you.
How you doing?
Excellent. So, what brings you to AI INFRA Summit today?
I was invited to attend, the Ignite from Dev Day about a few weeks ago. We came in here to integrate with everybody in the AI infrastructure that we're trying to explore. Everybody's in the ground floor, so probably a good place for everyone to connect and learn about where we're headed, or where we're starting now, then where we're headed.
And you've got a great foundation in this space, having studied mechanical engineering, and then you said you got your master's in what?
I have a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, and then I went to grad school and studied dynamics, controls, vibrations, and robotics. It's a mouthful.
Wow.
I'm from Long Beach State, so that's a good program. Basically, it's the same program we had in Stanford as well, professors and whatnot. But anyways, earlier I know we talked about research. Foundationally speaking, we have a great foundation, not just from the mechanical engineering side or the robotic side, but from the machine learning side. Before we called it AI, that's what we called it, right? So as far as research, and it's an ongoing research, because now it's no longer just regular machine learning. It's in a much bigger scale. It keeps evolving. I mean, if you think about that, the world got exposed to ChatGPT, 2022? And it's 2025. It's only been a few years. Look where we are now. And if that could happen in 3 years, imagine where we're heading, right?
Joseph, I feel like you're in a pretty amazing space, because it'll continue to evolve. The companies will continue to need folks to shepherd them and help them understand new technologies and applications to maybe be more efficient, be more secure. Cybersecurity is an important element. What got you into this space? What originally piqued your interest, Julius?
I'm a nerd, so hey, welcome to Silicon Valley.
That's awesome.
What piqued me into it? I don't know. I'm a curious fellow. I have 6 brothers and sister. All my brothers are engineers. They have their own stuff going on. We try to be.
Yeah, beautiful.
We try to be. We're fairly simple for what it's worth.
So who's your ideal customer? Who are you looking to meet here today, just so that way the zombie community could help maybe make some introductions for you?
To be honest, I came in here with my own idea for what my vision is, as how I would want to introduce AI in both robotics. I have I'm a researcher after all, right? I'm an inventor too.
Which makes you perfect for your role.
Yeah. For both, in this case, just a peak. It's a medical device that I'm trying to create that helps blind people see.
Wow, I got it.
But
was part of this inspired by your work in graduate studies?
No.
Okay.
You want to know the truth?
I'd love to hear it.
It's inspired by an anime.
Anime. Oh, okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Which anime was it?
I guess it's debatable. People won't know to call it anime, but it's basically every blind person in an anime.
I see.
Mainly, and like I said, I'm probably going to get some heat for this. Avatar: The Last Airbender has a character who's blind.
Yes.
So because of that kind of inspired me to create this specific, device. Also, Daredevil. Don't forget about him.
It's amazing that you're crafting something that's going to have an impact on so many people that need it. So thank you for your work. Is there any maybe gems or nuggets about how the functionality works, or the device itself that you could share?
The device itself, I would not say it's not anything we don't have today. What we don't have is how to integrate that specific functionality and give it a brain, which in this case, an artificial intelligence.
I see.
Right? So how do I put this? You know how Apple has a haptic system? It's not a haptic system. It's something that vibrates in your wrist. haptic system, true haptic system, is a feedback control system. Think about it for a second. If you touch something hot, you feel it's hot.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
We're trying, that's what a haptic system is in a device. So now you want that device, you know, it's not just one device. It's, you know, it's a wearable technology.
I see.
That would show perception, depth perception. If I'm not seeing anything, I'll know you're here. I'll know that's there.
So, can we dive into haptics real quickly? I remember seeing something on Google a while back that essentially had the triangulation between multiple points, and it felt as if there was something there, so you could turn a knob that wasn't actually there, but it was just vibrations that were intersecting, I guess. And this is a couple years ago. So, what does the future look like for user interfaces leveraging haptic technology?
I mean, the future that the public knows, and the future that the R&D world knows is completely different.
Give us the juicy stuff.
Okay, let's buy this. So you play a video game.
Yeah.
You wear gloves. You see a fire on your environment. You try to touch it. You feel it's.
Wow.
That's a sample.
Yeah. So like truly interactive.
And this was something we were messing with in 2016.
You know, I know a gentleman named Bill Wiles, who's an attorney, and like 15 years ago, he was building something called Scent Sciences. So you're watching like Predator or some movie where it's
Wait, olfactory?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Kind of cool.
That's.
Yes, I mean it's.
I want to know.
It's different from like a heated glove, but I mean.
Oh, that's a different game. Olfactory is.
But see, imagine when you incorporate like all of the senses.
That's where we're heading. I feel like.
Okay.
My company, at least, I'm starting at one point. I mean, what do we need? I need resources. I mean, it's not exactly it's not a cheap project to deal with. That's why we have.
It's huge, and people spend a lot of video games.
Oh, and it's not just for medical devices. Think about that for a second. But
you mean it's also for consumers? Or?
I mean, they are consumers for what it's worth, right?
Sure.
But like, think about that for a second. My main goal is to enable the otherwise people that are handicapped visually. I have a friend who's blind, and that was perhaps. This guy's great. Like, he can hear anything.
Yeah,
but
I have heard that where when one sense is taken away, the others are heightened.
That's what they said. He said, his society is overrated, but
yeah,
I was like, not for me.
Yeah, right. Well, that's beautiful. So tell us a little bit more about Bravo Zulu and how you came up with the name, and maybe how folks can learn about what you're building, Julius.
Okay, for people who already know. But I was a sailor. I was in the Navy, and the name Bravo Zulu means job well done in the military. So they know.
Very cool.
Ty knows. Yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much what it is. So basically,
I love it. I'm a sailor as well.
So
Yeah, for sure. So I really appreciate you hopping on. Maybe can you share a website, or what would be a good way for folks to connect with you?
All right. Website is bzcconsulting.com.
Like a Bravo Zulu C, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
It was a typo when I made the website. So I'm in a process of changing it to bzconsulting.ai.
Now we can just like repoint it to the new site, and you're gonna have multiple sites pointing to it, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that because Anyways, that's primarily the purpose of it. And for what it's worth, I'm developing devices like this. I mean, when I was in grad school, I work at a place called Human Performance Lab. And my university was actually next to the VA. You know what I mean? And helping out fellow, veterans out there to get what they need. more like what they're owed. Yeah, I'm going to say that, you know,
Take care of the veterans,
and
man.
apologetically, I will say that. It's not something, you know, it's something they're owed.
Yeah, 100%.
So
Huge respect and grateful for all the veterans.
as a veteran, yourself.
So, Julius Somali, thank you so much for joining us here. And is there any parting thoughts you'd like to share with the AI Infra crew here today in San Francisco?
Well, I am just glad to be here and absorb all the knowledge and network with everybody here, and I'm excited to see where the space goes. You know, the AI space.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Good stuff. Thanks for hopping on, my friend. Cheers. All right, everybody, we're here with Adam Shaw from Grid Innovation Hub. Adam, great to have you on Zombies here.
Thanks for having me on Zombies.
Right on. So welcome to AI Infra. There's a whole lot of energy here. Speaking of energy, it sounds like you're in the space and it's quickly changing. There's a lot of moving parts. So maybe help us unpack it at a very high level if you could.
Yeah, well, I think maybe there isn't as much energy here as we wish there was, right? I think right now we're trying to build these hyperscaler kind of data centers and even smaller that just literally can't be plugged in. Like right before this, you were telling me that they've got these huge racks that sitting there not doing anything.
Yeah, Satya just mentioned that like a week or so ago. And so when I said a lot of energy, I mean at AI Infra.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of energy here, but you're right. There does seem to be a dearth in the market. How are you looking about things from a policy perspective? I mean, I know you probably need to stay fairly neutral given your role as a founder, but how are you looking at this overall?
Yeah, so something that we're doing at Grid Innovation Hub to tackle this is getting the conversations between the tech companies, the utilities, and even the policymakers happening earlier on. Right now, they're all kind of working in their silos. The tech companies are building data centers that they can't power. The utility companies are building power generators that aren't going to be online for 5, 6, 7, sometimes even 15 years. We were talking about nuclear, which isn't fast enough.
That's kind of scary from a national security perspective. Right?
It is. Like, forget about data centers, right? We can't power our homes a lot of the times. And if you live here in California and you look at your utility bill and you go, holy crap, that's a lot of money.
It's doubled since last year.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Exactly.
But, maybe artificial intelligence can be the thing that bails us out of this trouble. Like perhaps we can find some kind of some new chemical or new composite that is able to help us to the nuclear process. I mean, how are you thinking about this from like renewable energies to nuclear? It feels like everybody's kind of getting on board with nuclear. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think nuclear is a really interesting piece. I'll give my kind of devil's advocate part in this is that it's impossible to build it faster than like 7 to 10 years, even these much smaller modular nuclear power plants. So what are we going to do between then? And solar and wind are not reliable enough to keep the data center on all the time. So we need to resort to dirty fossil fuels and other sources of energy.
What about electric eels? Is there some way to like capture electric eels and?
Yeah, we could try it. Why not? Hey, look, we'll try anything once.
Yes,
right?
yeah. See, that's the heart of an innovator right there. So let's back up a little bit. When you mentioned that there's a bit of a lag, what's causing the bottleneck in the production?
So predominantly policy is one thing. The ability to just very quickly build a power generation station that's going to be what's called interconnected onto the grid, something that can sell energy back to the grid. And that takes 5 or 6 years just to get through the what they call the interconnection queue.
So you don't mean like the legislative hurdles?
It's both. It's legislative on the planning front and where you can put your power generating assets, and then how are you actually going to connect them to the grid. Now, a lot of companies just won't connect them to the grid, which is fine. It still takes years to get approvals to actually build the generating assets. And that's why you see companies like Tesla and Elon Musk building these really dirty generators in Memphis. Is they don't have another option right now. They just pop a couple generators and they can go.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that it almost feels like it's like an insurmountable thing to try to get us back where we need to be from a global, like a unipolar kind of a scenario. What are things that entrepreneurs should be looking to build from your perspective?
Yeah, we need to be getting really specific into covering what we call the knowledge gap in the power generation and transmission space. Power engineers are not being produced in the United States. When people go and become electrical engineers, they go to school for that. They want to go work on cool things like data centers, semiconductor manufacturing. We're losing a ton of knowledge on the operational side, which is going to cause huge bottlenecks in producing more generation and getting the power where it needs to go.
Typically, I'm for like a free market and minimum government intervention as a libertarian. Mm-hmm. However, it almost feels like maybe this could be something where the government steps in and say, hey, we need a lot more people learning and building in this space. We're gonna maybe subsidize your education, or maybe throw in a free Ferrari or something.
Yeah. Hey, look, free Ferraris for every power engineering student. But that's why China has been developing some of the best green energy in the world, is because they do incentivize power engineers. You go and you get your electrical engineering degree, you really only need 6 months to a year of a little bit of additional education to go and work in a power plant where you're going to get over 6 figures. That's even in the US. Wow. But in China, they accelerate that and they make it a lot easier to get into that pipeline of talent.
Yeah. Just to play the flip side of that coin, because the government is so entrenched in the entrepreneurial endeavors and the commerce and the subsidies, it feels almost like a gray market to some degree. Mm-hmm. Where if you compare that and contrast that with the United States, it feels like fairly cut and dry. Like we know what the rules are, we know where the government ends and where private business or public business begins. And maybe that creates a better foundation for entrepreneurs, but who knows, for something as important as is the energy production on a global scale, maybe the U.S. should be kind of dipping their toe into that. And I know they're doing that more with the CHIPS Act and I think they just acquired part of Intel.
They did. That's right. Yep. Well, I think the big gap that we can fill is we subsidize power generation companies with cash, just like we do crops and other sorts of products in the U.S. If we can reach that a little bit further into that talent pipeline, I think that's where we can start to see these huge gains. We don't need to be doing, massive, government investment into infrastructure like China is. We just need to develop our talent pool a lot faster than we currently are.
What about, that's a great point. And also I love the fact that you said you got to get started earlier.
Oh yeah.
Just kind of like what you're building with grid innovation, starting that conversation between policymakers and technologists earlier. There's got to be a great way to attract people from abroad as well. I mean, that's how traditionally we've won, is by attracting the best talent. So maybe, I know we've kind of touched on a couple different political pieces, but maybe immigration, we could inspire some of that activity too.
Absolutely. I mean, we have some of the best education in the world, and we're starting to see a little bit of that of foreign investment in education starting to go away. But I think that we are developing the best technology in the world when it comes to data centers, when it comes to innovative technology for power generation and transmission. We just need to make sure we're keeping that here. We are keeping the excitement around education and getting these incredibly talented foreign workers and students to come and contribute to what should be one of the #1 power generation countries in the world.
100%. It's interesting to me that you put it in two different buckets: the generation and the transmission. I heard somewhere, I think it was Shamath Palihapitiya from the All In podcast. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that redoing the grid would cost $1 trillion, but it's something that just needs to happen, especially if we're going to launch ourselves into the next chapter of success for the country. But how would we even go about restarting the grid?
Yeah, so I think we call that grid reliability and resiliency in the industry. And it first starts with making sure that the assets you have that are aging are safe. And realistically, what a lot of these companies are looking for is, hey, are we able to extend the lifeline of this past what we originally thought the amortization schedule was? Now we're getting really financial here, but and if you can make it so that's safe, there are no wildfires being caused by transmission lines going down. Exactly, there's tons. And if you can get that going, they can justify more costs into building more. At the end of the day, we need more. They're building it. It's just how fast can we build it?
I see. And probably also, like you mentioned, Adam, redundancy is an important element, especially for part of the grid that's like pretty old, right?
Yep. Yeah, redundancy is huge. If you go and look at any of like the old transmission lines that you're seeing, a lot of them have been there for 50 years, and they incrementally update parts of them as they need to go. I've seen some really cool technologies that are looking at the poles, looking at the lines and saying, hey, here are the individual pieces that need to be ordered and replaced. And if you can be doing that in real time and dispatching that work all with AI,
That's pretty impressive.
yeah, it can
Computer vision, that's
computer vision. Yeah, that's a big part of it. They're flying drones, they're taking trucks and just simply taking pictures, and it says, hey, parts A, B, C, and D need to be replaced.
Yeah.
Here's the engineering plan, dispatch that, and you can basically rebuild the grid a lot faster.
man, that makes me proud to be an American.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, well, Adam, thanks so much for hopping on. Maybe how can folks learn more about you? Maybe you could share a website or
Yeah.
how to get in touch.
Visit gridinnovationhub.com, drop your email in there, subscribe, and I'll shoot you an email welcoming you. If you want to catch up, I'll send you a link there too.
Beautiful. Adam, thanks so much, man. Appreciate you coming on. Enjoy the rest of AI Infra.
You too.
Welcome everybody to AI Infra. We're here with Anurag Gurtu from AIRRIVED. And I love that your badge says AI Arrived.
Yeah.
That was a happy,
It's a marketing twist on AIRRIVED.
very nicely done. So Anurag, tell us a little bit about what you're building and why you're excited to be here at AI Infra.
Yeah, so it's an amazing conference with thought leaders, great speakers, and what we are doing at AIRRIVED is we are rethinking how cybersecurity and IT needs to be reimagined.
Wow.
As you know, there's a lot of talk about agents, and we are democratizing how customers can use agents to build agentic apps in less than 5 seconds.
How do they find the gaps in the ecosystem or within their stack, I wonder?
Yeah, so the first thing is the entire SaaS architecture is changing towards the agentic architecture. And what customers want to really see is how they can solve their current problems or future problems using agentic technologies. And we are trying to bring together a platform where customers can either look for solution, think of it like an app store, like an Apple App Store, and you have pre-built apps that customers can consume, and all these apps are agentic.
Okay.
Or they move into this middle layer, which is like the agents layer, or think of it like Lego blocks. And the customers, just like how a kid can connect Lego blocks together to compose a toy, the customers can consume agents to create an app that solves a business problem. And then the customers can move one layer further into a platform where they can use like 3D printers, like think of 3D printers that can create these Lego blocks. So they can move into this bottom layer and then they can start composing agents, then assemble these agents and then solve different problems.
My God, it's like we're living in the future. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like living in the future.
So when you mention the different layers in the stack, my understanding is that there's, I think it's like not AMA, but like A2A. There's a couple different
A2A protocols, yeah.
Help us understand what are these protocols and how do they work? What are they connecting? Is it data sets? Is it models?
Yeah, so the agents to communicate with each other have to have a common protocol, and that's like the A2A protocol. Like think of it like how the routing protocols came about with Cisco and Juniper talking the same routing, moving the packet from one to another.
Or HTTPS for
Or HTTPS for a standardized platform. The agents are using this protocol to communicate with each other. And then when agents are communicating with products, they're using a protocol called MCP. So using our platform, they can compose agents, they can have our agents by default obviously use A2A to communicate with each other. They don't have to set up anything. But then if they want to set up their own agent infrastructure or agentic infrastructure, then these agents can communicate.
What's the difference between A2A and MCP? Because those do seem to be the two predominant ones in the
Yeah,
market.
similar. The only difference is like A2A, you're using a protocol to have two agents talk to each other or many agents talk to each other. And MCP is basically a product exposing itself, and an agent can communicate with a product independently, not to an agent.
I see. And so what does the next 6 months look like on Anurag? Because things are changing so quickly, which is beautiful because then that means we get to educate the customer and help them solve problems and continue to grow business. So what does the next 6 to 12 months look like?
I think if you look at the rate at which the innovation is going in AI, there are almost like 3 papers getting published on a daily basis. That's the fastest rate at which this industry is seeing innovation. So for us, it's all you have to keep up to the innovation, and you have to, I would say, companies have to disrupt themselves to stay alive, and that's what we are doing. Like we are disrupting ourselves pretty much on a weekly basis of what new things we can expose for our customers to solve different business problems.
That's amazing. And it also probably promotes cohesion in team bonding. It's like, hey, I learned about this cool thing. It's like, no way. I learned about this cool thing too. And then you're sharing and you're learning. And, I love the idea of companies to create a moat around attracting engineers or attracting the builders. Like that does seem to be something that is like a good, obviously, speed to market is important and speed of execution, but also attracting the smartest people into your ecosystem seems to be important. How are you approaching that, Anurag?
Yeah, so the first layer that we mentioned was the apps layer, right? Like think of like an Apple App Store, and that's a collaborative layer. Like you and I can collaborate together and solve like a fraud detection problem or a really complex problem to identify a root cause analysis for IT. And we can create agents, we can create agentic apps, and we can publish it, and then we can monetize on it as well, right? So if you are highly creative and you're producing content which is worthwhile for the industry, I mean, you can monetize and get paid on that too. So it's a really collaborative and monetized.
That's beautiful, and also it's creating economic prosperity for folks who are actually creating the thing.
Exactly.
Which is
yeah.
really fantastic.
Right.
So I'm so glad that Tony Zernu connected us. Shout out to Tony. We love this guy. Help us understand, Anurag, where folks can learn a little bit more about what you're building. Do you want to maybe share a website? Or?
Yeah, you can visit AIRRIVED.ai. We are currently in stealth, so we'll be coming out of stealth in December. And we are fortunate enough to be recognized by Gartner as a tech innovator in agentic AI, and have like 7 different reports to mention our names along with the biggest of the biggest companies in the world.
Beautiful. So for more of the best brains, check out what these guys are doing. Anurag, thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Really appreciate you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of AI Infra here.
Enjoy it, sure. All right, take care.
What's up, everybody? I'm here with John Khazraee from InvestWise, and this is kind of like a blast from the past.
Yes.
We got to meet at AI Infra.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Bill and the entire wonderful Ignite team. So, well, first and foremost, we owe you a big congratulations for winning TechCrunch Battlefield.
Thank you.
Over 200 people.
Yes.
What was that experience like?
Yes. So we got first place in the industry pitch out of 200 companies. So it was a amazing experience. I mean, first off, to be picked as a 200 company out of thousands that applied, that was a blessing in itself.
Sure.
And it was a blessing to win that industry pitch award as well. But the one thing that I gathered from meeting, you meet a lot of people, Nick, and I met like 500 people during that event, and they came by our booth, and the one thing I realized is what we're doing at InvestWise is really needed in the industry.
Sure. And the market is expanding like crazy. So help us understand, what was it? Is it leak prevention? Is there some kind of unique technology application to keep things up and running? Because we know that the infrastructure, nothing else works if the infrastructure isn't working, right?
Absolutely. And you hit a really good point. Right now with the growth of AI, heating up the servers, the demand is just crazy. And what we've seen is, and I've been in the industry for over 15 years. I've worked at Microsoft, Japan, Oracle, IBM.
I heard you speaking Japanese.
I was speaking Japanese earlier.
I'm constantly surprised.
Yeah, so, working for these companies and supporting, their initiatives of the AI and also data centers the growth is exponential, but there's issues going on in the data center. And that issue is there's to cool water, liquid cooling or water cooling. There's leakages that happen in the data center. And these leakages, Nick, to fix it up, we're looking at a minimum of $10-15 million each time it happens. And the amount of times it happens like over 5-10 times a year for one location. So you extrapolate that, you're looking at over a $75 billion industry here that's just not being met fully.
Yeah.
So about 2 years ago, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna really take a stand here, and I got together with another colleague of mine, an MIT graduate, UC Berkeley guy, much older than me, much more wiser. But
not nearly as well dressed.
Thank you. And he actually develops data centers. His name is Jim Wong. and he's a veteran as well. And we got together and he said, you know what, there's this issue we're seeing in data centers and we've got to solve it. We've got to get in there and solve it. So we started developing a software and hardware play. Our hardware is a variety of different sensor models, temperature, pressure, fluctuations and whatnot. Even our IoT device. But now we've now moved on to software. And our software does AI and machine learning utilizing the data center's own information. And we can white label it for the data center. So, and their data is their data, and kind of figuring out when that leak is going to happen before it happens, so they can go ahead and fix it right then and there.
I love the preventative approach. Yeah. We know how important that is in modern health.
Yeah,
well,
sure.
Just want to make sure that
yeah, that's on. Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And it seems like the preventative approach to AI infrastructure is likewise going to be a pretty core element of the next chapter of growth. John, what else do you see when you look in the next, say, 6 to 12 months for data infrastructure? I mean, your company is just exploding in growth, driving new revenue.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the other elements? Maybe can you tease a little bit about the product line? Is it going to be maybe some like some computer vision, or I don't know. I don't want you to spill the beans. Give us a taste here.
You know, the thing is this: we are always. The thing is this: you gotta have your pulse with the customer. And what I always do is I always speak to my customers, the data center folks, and even the hyperscalers. What is going on? Right now, we see even quantum computing. And the amount of heat being generated and also the compute power for quantum computing is so exponential. So we're also looking ahead in quantum computing, how we can be able to help them out.
Wow.
But right now, we're utilizing the AI machine learning to just kind of advance it, and we're utilizing their data to kind of figure out what's the best possibility for that.
Beautiful. There's got to be a unique way for you to aggregate data across all your customers and kind of have data packages of learning. I don't know if that's maybe on the roadmap or...
We've got a few things on the roadmap.
Okay.
We also have another colleague is a Harvard graduate. Actually, I did my MBA at Cornell University with him. He did an undergrad in Harvard. And this guy is brilliant. We got together as well with our MIT colleague, Jim Wong. And we decided, okay, what is the future gonna hold? How can we solve those needs for the future? So we have a couple things in the roadmap to help alleviate some of the troubles that are coming along with that. And we're just excited because right now, with AI and this, how everything is moving towards, there's so much opportunity, Nick, that we can solve and make the world a better place, because not only helping data centers alleviate those leakages, we're helping them save water too, utilization of water. So we're helping the community, because data centers, there's two things that they consume the most, water and electric. And if we're able to solve the water crisis, we're able to help the community and help these data centers thrive.
That's an excellent point. In fact, I heard somewhere that each ChatGPT query is like half a teaspoon of water or something.
Yeah,
like that. I might have it wrong.
Yeah, so I'm making like gallons of water at night, just ChatGPTing things, you know what I'm saying? So it's making it rain, you know? Making it rain.
There we go. I love
that. You like that, right?
Yeah. Well, it's so glad to have you back, John. You're always such a delight and a dear friend. I'm really impressed. You know, you've got this natural charisma, and then you also have a deep intellectual fortitude, and you know, you bring really smart people around you. And I think that's leadership, right? People want to follow that. So we're excited to track your growth. We're excited to track the company continuing to scale. So congratulations.
I've got to add one more thing. You brought up a really good point, Nick, that you know you gotta really alleviate and level up your team. This is so important. I mean, it's myself, but I really have to thank my team, because I mean, especially during TechCrunch. We're talking 3 days, like almost 4 days, because we had to get set up on Sunday. But 3 days of getting there at 6 a.m. to beat the traffic in SF. You know, going to the after events, after TechCrunch events, like so going back home getting home at almost midnight for 3 days straight with the team. And they were troopers. And I think the reason why is because, not only because of leadership, but also the vision. The vision and being surrounded with people that believe in what you believe in, and what you're doing is making such a positive and strong impact. And I think that's what made the difference, where the team said, you know what, we believe in this. We believe in you, John.
Yeah.
And we all believe in each other that we're going to make a difference in this world. So
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So it's mission driven. Well, you guys are also having fun too.
Yeah.
Right? It's a lot of work. But TechCrunch Disrupt, that's that's the
Yeah.
creme de la creme. So
Thank
the fact
you.
you got first place, like just super impressed. And,
Thank
and
you.
I know we'll continue to see beautiful things.
And
for InvestWise and
yeah, and what's the crazy thing is, before TechCrunch, I was actually in Egypt. There was called Techni Conference.
yeah.
So I flew all the way to Cairo, Egypt, went to Alexandria, and I spoke and we had a discussion on stage regarding AI, regarding data centers.
Right.
And here in the US, we see this big push, and we have an issue of water leakages here. But I'll tell you what, Nick, overseas, they're having similar issues and worse. So this is a global pandemic here
Sure.
that we're trying to solve. And
Misfortune breeds opportunity, though, right?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And wherever I went, even Turkey, I went to Turkey afterwards.
Where you were speaking at another event, right?
Speaking with the team over there. So everywhere I went around globally, I noticed there's a big need for this, and is a growing need. So we're hoping to fill that need up and make it a solution there.
Fantastic. John, maybe you could share, is there an InvestWise website, or how can folks continue to learn more? Or for the zombie community that wants to make an introduction to a potential buyer, who are you looking to meet?
Yes.
Can I ask?
Well, we're always looking to meet data center developers, folks that are administrators or directors in data centers. Happy to have that dialogue and conversation and synergy they bring to you guys. But we're also, if you guys are interested, check out our website, learninvestwise.com. And you can try to find some more information. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn, John Khazraee. And happy to have that dialogue. And if I don't have the answer or solution, Nick, you know this as well as I do. You have a network that's a net worth, they call it,
yeah,
right?
That's right.
And we have both a very good network.
Yeah.
So, happy to connect you to the folks primarily to help you out. Even though I can't, I want to make sure you guys get helped out. So feel free to reach out. I'm happy to support you. And so I'm sure Nick is as well.
Dude, I'm so glad to have you back.
Brother.
All right, man. Hey, congratulations again, and on to more beautiful stuff at the AI Infra here.
Thank you, sir.
All right, cool.
We'll see you soon.
All right, everybody, we got Tim in the house here.
Oh my God, it's Nick Larson!
Yes, and now we're gonna have all sorts of fun.
Yes.
In fact, Tim, you are a beautiful addition to everywhere you go. Including
Thank you.
The MedTech VC event that went to last week and takes us to, and now we're here at AI Infra.
AI Infra!
Because the pickaxes and shovels are cool.
They are, in their own way.
That's right. And so, what are you excited about today? Who are you here to see? What do you want to learn? How can people help you out? All this good stuff.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about meeting some of the companies that are in the middle of all of this and driving the innovation.
Yes.
Because I think with all the stuff that's in front of it on AI, what's behind it is somehow even more exciting.
It's a little mysterious.
It's a little mysterious. Now, I'm telling you, Nick, I'm sharing it with you and your fans that my goal today is to understand 25% of what people are talking about.
Wow, that's
a bold, that's a bold goal for myself.
I like 25. I'm going to shoot for that too.
Let's go. Let's go. I think just being on the cutting edge of discussions, and I know, Silicon Zombies is always on the front of the discussions.
We got smart people like you.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I am smart. That's true. He's right. I'm smart. He's smart too, though.
Yeah.
So, no, but you lead the conversations and for me, I just want to shout out you, Nick.
Oh, thank you, Jim.
I really do, because it is hard work to gather people and be like a leader of the conversations. And it's my experience that your events that I've been to have been phenomenal.
Thank you. I think one of the reasons that we make it that it turns out well is because we're curious and we have fun.
Yes.
And that curiosity seems to be a good foundation. And in fact, you brought a lot of that when we were at the Ageless thing. And Peter Crone, he had 400, 500 people in the audience, and he picked you out.
I know.
Conversation.
I know. It was amazing. amazing. He gave a presentation, and then like he said, someone said, "Do you have 5 more minutes?"
Yeah.
And he walked back on stage because I think I have 3 more minutes, and I just raised my hand.
Yes.
And asked the question.
All the way up, too.
All the way up,
Yes.
and he called on me. And I think that what is clear about you guys is that you develop community. And that is the web that pulls people together.
Yeah.
And so when I'm coming here, like I do want to get a sense of the community as well and get to know some people. And honestly, the other thing that excites me is connecting people. In fact, like one of the first people I met, I connected to you. I sent over here.
Adam Shaw.
Adam Shaw.
By the way. That
Did
was
he?
a beautiful introduction.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And so you mentioned a little bit about the things, what you want to learn today.
Yeah.
We learned a lot from Adam about the interaction between policymakers and technologists,
Right.
because energy is such a core element.
Right.
And right after that, we had a wonderful interview with John from InvestWise, and he was teaching us a little bit about how there's leakage, coolant leakage in data centers, which causes downtime.
Yeah.
And for me, because I'm trying to process these things myself and understand,
Of course.
it's like when you've got a lot of heavy compute, you got to cool down the systems.
Yes.
And then when they leak, it causes a lot of downtime and all the rest.
Well, you know what?
Yes, tell me.
That sounds like me on the dance floor.
I love it.
As I bring the heat. Someone got to call it down.
I love it.
Someone got to call it down. But you know what I heard?
Tell me.
I heard John was wearing a spectacular jacket.
It looked like $1 million.
It looked like $1 million. I don't know. It was the pink. It was the pink.
It was augmented reality. He was standing in the nude, actually. I'm joking.
No!
It's a good thing.
This is a great. This event just got crazier.
I'm about to get canceled over here.
That's all good.
Yeah.
No, but so I work for a company that helps startups and VCs with fractional accounting and finance, which is cool. I get to meet people and help them. And the other thing for me is, for 25 years, I helped entrepreneurs build content for investor presentations. So I like when I'm actually at an event and I hear a startup talking to an investor and then pull him or her aside and say, "Hey, do you want some help with that? Because I would like to see you talk to them differently in the future." So
you do that in such a way where, you open people's heart, because there's no judgment. It's all love.
right.
So what's your secret behind that? Who taught you that? And how do you?
Oh my gosh.
You're so damn good.
How am I so damn good? Do I have time to tell a story?
Yeah, please do.
I will. So I have a 24-year-old daughter. And when she was in her teens, I learned something about her. She's like a feral cat.
Wow.
What that means is I put an emotional bowl of milk out there for her. Now, if I try to get her to come to that milk before she's ready, like a cat, her back will arch and she'll hiss.
Wow.
Right? Because on her terms.
Yes.
So the thing is that I feel something's up with her. What happens is one night, I was ordering burritos for us.
Yes.
And I said, "Zoe, would you like guacamole on your burrito?" And she told me everything that was going on in her life in that moment.
Wow.
And so my job in that moment was, rather than looking at the phone, to put the phone down, turn my heart to her,
Yes.
and listen with everything I have.
Okay.
And patiently listen to her and pay attention to her. And what I found is, and that was a complete mindset change for me.
See.
So what I found is, when I come to these events, if I bring that same heart
Yes.
to listening and understanding what people have to say and talk to them as a human being, it's amazing what can happen. So regardless of whether business or anything else comes out of it, I get the genuine connection.
That's incredible.
Thanks.
And it's like when you do that consistently, people know that you bring that kind of that you bring the heat.
Yes, I bring the heat on the dance floor and in conversation.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's so Simon, who's the fellow that wrote Not Good to Great?
Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek, thank you. He had said a while ago that when teams work together, the value of people working together and attacking the same problem is just as important as the work that gets done.
Exactly.
Which is like a surprise to me. But that's because they feel there's cohesion.
Right.
And you're so good at it. It's like Mozart watching you do this. And I saw you do this, Tim, at the event just last last week
Right.
when I showed up in an ice cream cone.
Right.
And everybody else is dressed in like their business attire. Like, am I at the right place? You know what I mean?
Yes, you were.
And then Tim gave me, he walks up and goes, just gives me a big lick. I don't know. Anyways, you always
A metaphorical lick. It was an actual lick. That's not the thing about it.
you always bring fun and you always bring, so,
Yeah, thanks.
so when folks are thinking about building their product or building their service, but they do need support in fintech or in accounting or bookkeeping. It's great for them to stay in their lane and not have to worry about some of those other administrative elements. Who are some of the big wins that you've had in the past, and what was the positive impact, and then how can folks introduce you to more companies?
Yeah, you bet. So first of all, you can get in touch with me on LinkedIn, Tim Taylor. That's my last name. Happy to connect and connect you. My biggest win was a company called Captura. And they had just raised $43 million, and they are a company that does direct ocean capture for carbon. It's huge. It's cutting edge. And when I met the COO, who's terrific, her thing was, she is wonderful at being a scientist and getting these projects done. And the thing is like many other companies that we meet, and VCs, by the way, because we work at VCs too, but companies, is they don't know what they don't know.
Sure.
And because of that, when they're working on the accounting and finance, they're spending more time working in the business rather than on the business.
I see.
And so the truth is, like when I have these conversations, it's very similar to when I was helping the companies with their presentations. It's such a big piece of it is being able to emotionally connect with that person and understand the difficulties that they're going through and let them know that we don't just sell fractional accounting and finance. We sell peace of mind, we sell partnership, we sell relationship.
And that's so much more profound, and that's probably why you get to collaborate with the Sugati people as well.
Right, the Sugati people, the blitzscaling people, Chris Ye, who's one of my best friends in my life. We have events regularly with him, and I told you that the next event we have, I want you to be there. I think it would be great for you to meet more of the company. But I was just stoked when I came in here and saw the amazing Silicon Zombies and the amazing Nick Larson.
Thank you, my man. We did this intentionally, the pink and the green.
Yeah, of course.
I can't.
It's the color wheel.
That's right.
It's the color wheel.
It's all by design.
Yes, it's all by design. It's awesome talking to you.
So much.
Of course.
Is there a website maybe you could share with the zombie community?
Sure. It's crans.consulting. If nothing else, Tim Taylor, and I'll tell you what, there's one last thing. If you connect with me, there's a possibility that I will send you the link to the one-man play that I did about my daughter called The Father-Daughter Dance. I wrote, directed, and starred in it.
Wow. And
it's a possibility. I'm gonna perform it again.
Excellent. Well, we're excited to support that when it happens.
Of course.
Maybe we could feature some of your poetry too.
Amazing. I love it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much.
Great to see you. Cransconsulting.com.
Yes.
Go check
I'm sorry. Crans.consulting.
Hey, Crans. Is that with a K?
KRANZ.consulting. Yeah.
We did that in stereo. That was pretty cool. All right, everybody, we're here with Susan Linwood, CEO of NovosPower and AI Infra. We're learning about pickaxes and shovels and apparently a layer cake as well. So
Absolutely.
tell us more, Susan.
Yes. So how I see AI Infra is the top layer would be the consumer-facing apps, right? All the fun stuff, what you do in Midjourney, what you do in ChatGPT. And the second layer will be the large language models that so many big companies are building. And the next would be the GPUs. So these are the NVIDIA, AMDs are building. And the last but not least layer would be the support, the electronics, the transmissions, the energy level. So NovosPower is definitely in the bottom layer, but we need to build that bottom layer solid so that we can support all layers ahead and everybody has a delicious bite of the cake.
I like how you put that, Susan. So as you think of these different layers into the stack for artificial intelligence, are these layers talking to each other? Will they become increasingly more integrated, or what do you think the next 6 to 12 months looks like for the AI infrastructure space?
So definitely each layer need to talk to each other because we would not be able to survive just by ourselves. It needs to take a village to make the cake all together.
Yeah.
So in the next 6 months, what I think is we are going to be really, really chime in building the bottom layer. And that's exactly why we're here today at AI Infra Summit. Everybody is building and adding on GPU powers, building the new data centers, particularly in the United States, because because of a latency issue, because of the cybersecurity. Actually, the United States is the biggest market right now in building data center around the globe, and that demand is insatiable.
So tell us a little bit more about NovosPower. How did you come up with the name? Who's your ideal target buyer? And maybe how can the zombie community be helpful as you continue to scale it?
Wonderful. So NovosPower was started 6 months ago, and my co-founder and CEO has been working on the power electronics space for the past 30 years. He's a 2 academic fellow. He's got a deep bench, 12 mature power engineers in his team ready to scale. And we are scaling very fast because in this space, we need to move fast. That's the speed we're talking about. And that's how we differentiate from our competitors. And also what the zombie community can help me is let's connect. Let's connect on LinkedIn. Let's connect with my website, novospower.com. And we would love to talk to more channel partners, builders, hyperscalers, edge data centers where we are working with, and also all investors, small and big. We are raising our seed fund, and we welcome interested partners and strategic partners to join us NovosPower family.
Fantastic. Well, tell us a little bit more about how you came to find the problem that needed to be addressed, and maybe what was the space in the market that Novos could fill.
Absolutely. So the 2 problems that we are solving right now, number one is the long lead time of transformer wait in entire United States. That's about 18 to 30 months. And the reason that it builds in that way is traditionally transformer need to build to spec. So you need to design the whole data center and understand how much megawatt you need, and then tell the manufacturer, this is how much I need, start building. Completely different from that previous model. Our product, our new transformer can build massively scalable. So we build modules, and we build modules ahead of time. So the next data center comes in, hey, we need 1 megawatt, 2 megawatt, you just take like how many Lego pieces that you need and just go. So we can build ahead of time and anticipate the demand, and also just much faster deployment. The other problem that we're solving is the huge swing, the power fluctuation in data centers, and we can control with our patent technology, control in milliseconds.
It's like a dynamic reallocation of resources, or how would you explain that to maybe a layperson?
So it is called millisecond control, timeline control of our strategy. So you said it pretty right, pretty good.
Yeah, cool, thank you. Well, I guess that might have been a little bit lucky on my part.
Okay.
So who are some of the folks that you've had a chance to meet today? It's interesting because there's fascinating people here, and all kind of tackling unique challenges. Because we know that Satya had just mentioned recently, he's got all these H100s, and they can't plug them in because there's a dearth of energy. So,
Absolutely.
Tell us about some of the cool people that you've met and some of the interesting challenges, Susan, that you're seeing in this space.
Exactly, like your friend just said, the problem right now is not the ability of GPU. The problem right now, the bottleneck is exactly the transmission side, exactly the energy side. We don't have enough energy. We don't have the right transmission right now. So that's exactly the bottleneck that NovosPower is trying to solve. So today I met hyperscalers. I met edge data centers. Today I met investors. I met potential partners, all different people. So this is
It's not even noon yet. There's still so much more awesome stuff to go.
it's 11 a.m. and this is how many people I met so far.
This is the third year that Zombies has been collaborating with AI Infra, and each year it continues to get better, which is insane. Just because each year is like shockingly cool and fascinating and fun, and there's just so much positive energy here.
Absolutely. And it's so nice talking with you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for joining. And maybe if you could share a website again for us so folks can learn more about NovosPower.
NovosPower.com.
NovosPower.com. Thank you so much, Susan, and enjoy the rest of the AI Infra Summit here.
Sir,
Okay, here we go. Thank you. All right, everybody, we're here with Jazz from Skyrelis at the AI Infra Summit, learning about pickaxes and shovels and hanging out with all sorts of really sharp people. So, Jazz, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Awesome. So, Jazz, tell us a little bit more about what you're excited to see at AI Infra today.
Yeah, so AI agents everywhere. We need an AI infrastructure to make sure that AI agent can scale, can perform, and most importantly, can be secure.
Oh yeah, cybersecurity is one of those things. It feels like a safe vertical to build in because there's always going to be good and bad actors. It's like a game of cat and mouse.
Yeah.
Right. So what got you interested in the cybersecurity space initially, Jazz?
Yeah, I've been in cybersecurity in the past 15 years. A little bit interesting about my background is I sit on both sides of the table. I am a technical leader and product leader, build a product from security product from ground up, scale all the way to 500 ARR. I'm also sitting in the CISO office to evaluate, deploy the security solution. I see this is a brand new era. AI agents emerging in the market, and we know how powerful they are. And meantime, we'll talk about the AI safety and security. I think that's a very, very important things. The whole society community need to be focused on so that we can really tap into the productivity gain for our agent without compromise the security risk.
Very well put, Jazz. We've got a pretty sophisticated audience, and there's a lot of really smart people here. So maybe if you could help us understand a little bit of the bleeding edge from a technology perspective. These agents, there's A2A and MC2. I think I got that right.
That's right.
And so as they're communicating across various layers in the stack, what are some security loopholes, or maybe what are some of the bad actors, the black hats building that we need to be careful of and moving forward?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Look, today, there are a lot of talk about AI safety, AI security. This is all a good thing. I think the awareness is very high. But however you look at the market today, a lot of tool is built for developers. What does that mean? Developer will be able to build a security feature. However, how can we really enforce a policy at runtime? That, I believe, is a missing. Why it's missing is missing the security policy layer in the AI infrastructure. So that during the runtime, AI agent make decisions and move so fast, the security team will be able to enforce the policy at runtime. And most importantly, that flexibility, because we know that different country and the different state will have different compliance requirement, or even for the different vertical. How can you build a different security profile on the same agents that you can enforce a different security policy if agents is using in different geolocations? That is right now. Really, we have that missing policy layer in the AI infrastructure right now.
Does that mean that there could be like a master protocol that everybody is kind of adhering to around compliance, or what would that even look like?
That's a very, very good question, because today when we talk about security, a lot of time we're talking about different protocol that NCP A2A that you just mentioned. However, we need to be careful. We need to be protocol and cloud and infrastructure agnostic. The policy engines need to be independent from the application from the protocol. That is a very key thing in the sense that so we can enforce the policy regardless using what kind of protocol. So that's a huge differentiator, right? Security in the infrastructure versus security inside the applications.
Wow, and how do you? That's kind of I feel like there was a light bulb moment there for me because correct me if I'm wrong, Jazz. You're saying that the different layers they need to talk to each other, but ultimately they need to all adhere to the same protocol. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Your policy engines need to be enforce the policy, regardless of what protocol your AI agent is using, what AI agent framework using, let's mean Pro AI or A2A or NCP. That is a very critical piece.
What happens when the agent makes a mistake? Is there some way to kind of claw that back and make sure that you're still in compliance? Because if you're out of compliance, that could be potentially,
trouble.
yeah, you don't want to get, that's a slap on the wrist. Right?
Absolutely. That's why the runtime enforcement, what does that mean? That means that security team can monitor AI agent, any move AI agent made. And if you violate the policy, based on the location, based on user profile, I can block immediately, automatically, without really like going back to ask the developer to change the application. That's a very critical point. To really sum up, one, your policy need to be able to enforce at runtime. Second, your policy agents need to be the protocol and application and location independent, and the cloud infrastructure independent. Agnostic.
You know, it'd be really interesting too, and this is coming from somebody that knows the space not nearly as well as you, but what if there was an agent that could kind of sniff out and find out when there was a problem and then shut down that API or that access point to ensure that no further damage is done? Or I don't know, maybe it would be like for like a data breach or something of that nature. What are some of the common challenges that folks have?
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. It's all about why you try to, security is all about why you try to protect. Like, for example, you mentioned about data, right? So, and another use case I can mention is that in the fintech, now AI agent can deal with people money, right? We can set a policy that if AI agent will not be able to allow to touch any money transfer more than 5,000. That's that is a runtime policy. Or you can,
Practical.
that is very practical. Yes.
What space do you typically, are you like personal credit information compliance or HIPAA compliance? What are you personally more fascinated by, and with having 15 years in the space, Chess?
Yeah, I think I'm fascinating about really, if we talk about security, we need to cover everything. One is like compliance, like you mentioned. And the second thing is safety, privacy, and also access control, right? That is all the security aspect that we need to cover. It will be way too complicated if you have compliance as one tool, access control have one tool. We need a policy engine that can really cover everything, all the aspects for AI agents.
I'm curious, that's helpful. I'm curious if maybe there's some kind of like natural language processing that can kind of navigate these different challenges, because language is kind of like a ubiquitous vehicle, I guess you could say.
Yes.
So how are you thinking about these master models, slave models that are kind of answering to each other? It's almost like a quarterback that's choosing which one to go to. How are you thinking about this?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we need to use AI to secure AI. So, for example, using
What can go wrong?
yeah, like you mentioned about the language model, semantic. We need to use a language model to classify AI agents' role. For example, based on the mission of the AI agents, we can classify if this AI agent is a high risk. If any agent can touch the bank account, immediately the risk is a bit higher. So that is one angle, that one use case we can leverage a language model to help classify AI agents.
It's like a taxonomy almost.
Exactly, yeah.
What's interesting about data though, Jazz, is it's constantly in motion, and it can vary on utility based on the timeliness or the quality of the sources. So if the quality of data can degrade over time, how do we classify that if it's constantly moving? or maybe it just falls into a different bucket, like a waterfall. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think there are two parts. One is building the agents, right? Building agents, and the second is a security agents, right?
What is that? Oh, the security. Oh, I see.
Secure agents.
I see.
When you build the agents, like the data is very important. You want to make sure that the agent can access the right data and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And when you try to secure an agent, you need to have a clear mindset about that. What data is sensitive? You have the risk score coming to place. The solution, any security solution, need to provide a very clear context about the risk, right? Doesn't matter is the behavior, agent behavior, or the data that agent can get access.
And so all of this probably laid a great foundation for you to create what you're building now. So help us understand a little bit about that and your current journey, and who's the ideal buyer that the zombie community can introduce to you, Jazz, so the company continue to scale.
Got it. So we are focused on enterprise market. There are two typical use cases. If an enterprise building AI agent that for their internal user, their employee to use to increase the productivity, that's the first use case. Second use case is that AI agents embedded in your product selling to external users. In terms of verticals, really, as long as security is your top of your mind, vertical is where the vertical agnostic.
Yeah. Is there a vertical that the team has excelled at more in others?
Yes. There are two verticals, the healthcare and the fintech, because these two verticals are very highly regulated. Yeah, very sensitive. Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Jazz, maybe could you share a website with us, or maybe how some folks can connect with you further?
Awesome. So you can find us at our website, skyrelis.com. That is www.skyrelis.com, where you can find me on LinkedIn. Look for my name, J-A-Z, my first name, Jazz, and Lin, L-I-N, my last name. So I'd love to have a direct conversation with you to exchange notes. How can we work together to secure our agentic world?
Beautiful. Jazz, thank you so much. I feel like we got into the technical weeds. We learned a lot. We had some fun, and we'll have more fun at the AI Infra. So thank you
so much, Nick.
For joining us today.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. We've got Faisal Mushtaq from TechCon Global here today. So, Faisal, welcome to Silicon Zombies. What brings you to AI Infra?
So Bill, the founder of AI INFRA, is a friend. He invited me. It's a great conference. You'll get to learn a lot about the advancements in AI and meet great people. So, yeah.
And for some reason, it keeps getting better and better than the year prior. I don't know how they keep outdoing themselves. We've got a ton of really smart people learning about application layer, but also all the way down to the LLMs and down to even the energy stacks and GPUs. Yes. You probably likewise get to meet a ton of fascinating people building TechCon Global. Help the zombie community here understand a little bit about the amazing events and conferences that you're hosting.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, so I'm the founder of TechCon Global. It's a platform to bring smart people together so we can connect and learn from each other. So we are planning 3 conferences next year. The first one is in Austin in February 12-13. It's called TechCon Southwest. The second one would be in San Francisco. It's called TechCon Silicon Valley. It's in April 6th with HumanX, along with HumanX. And then the third one is our biggest flagship, TechCon SoCal. It's in San Diego, beautiful sunny San Diego, and it will be May 22nd, 23rd. The kind of speakers that you expect there, they will be investors, leading venture partners, they will be CTOs, CIOs, and CEOs of large public companies and private companies, entrepreneurs that have scaled their companies, they have sold their companies. So you get to hear from different perspectives, from AI to SaaS to infrastructure to digital health and life sciences.
Wow, so you really got a pretty broad selection of wonderful folks that are coming. I'm really impressed. Three conferences. That's you're juggling a lot. I'm sure each one's going to be a home run. Maybe what are some of the interesting things that you've learned so far today, or some of the fascinating people this fantastic conference that our friends at Ignite has put on here.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. So I met two great companies that are building data centers from ground up. So it's like a turnkey from different 100, 200 megawatt, from planning to execution to infrastructure equipment to setup to power. To me, that's amazing. I mean, this kind of offering that they are offering. And also, obviously, the advancements in AI, the LLMs, AMD speaker covered some of that. So it's a great learning from, as you mentioned, different layers, all the way from LLMs down to the power, to infrastructure, to data centers, sizing and operations.
I feel pretty lucky getting to talk to really sharp people like yourself. It's just because you get to get a lot of data points on the cutting edge of what's happening. And in fact, we just had Susan on, who was mentioning that they're able to have almost create data centers like Lego blocks, where the speed to market is becoming increasingly important, not just from a commerce perspective, but national security as well. So when you think about what the next 6 to 12 months holds for us, what does that look like? There's going to be more agentic infrastructures, more applications, more autonomy, maybe more protocols that are talking to each other. What do you think the future holds for the data infrastructure space, Faisal?
Yeah, I think one thing is common, that it's growing at a super hyper scale. So the more, you don't have enough compute, enough GPUs. Everyone is looking for that. So that will continue to grow. With a lot of agentic infrastructure coming in, you will see the applications across different industries, that will drive the, the usage and the demand for that. There are new applications that are, so AI is becoming a layer, just like cloud and SaaS was like 10, 12 years ago, but moving at the speed of light. So I think that you mentioned 6 to 12 months. It's hard to predict the next month in AI. So yeah, the way the advancements are happening, I've been in the industry for 20 plus years. I've seen .com, SaaS, cloud, but this is nothing that I've ever been before. The speed, the advancements, the velocity, the innovation, it's incredible.
It's just pretty exciting. So Faisal, I find it interesting that you mentioned the cloud infrastructure piece that we kind of collectively went through about 10 years plus ago. It seemed to me that, eventually the cloud infrastructure, it fell into the hyperscalers, or I should say like Amazon, some of these larger companies. But in a lot of cases, initially it was the smaller companies that were adopting cloud first. But maybe that's not necessarily the case with AI. AI seems to be pervasive in such a way that it's hitting the consumers and the small startups, but it's also hitting the enterprises as well. Why do you think that we're having a change in the market?
Yeah, so I think you touched upon cloud. I saw it, the journey, and there was a fear. There was a fear of losing control. There's a fear of losing security. And those fears were all addressed as the cloud hyperscalers advance their offerings. And then it becomes a plug and play, like a model where you can scale on demand. And so same thing is happening. But I think your point about consumer, if you look at AI have been there for 50 plus years. I've been building models where you can, I was part of a sleep company where you can detect apnea and insomnia by sleeping on a bed by the sensors data. But at that time, consumers were not aware because 2018, 19. But what happened was ChatGPT was that moment that even somebody's grandmother will know what ChatGPT is. Sure. So that it becomes so easy, pervasive, and the value was so visible that you can say, wow, this is a miracle, right? And then that's where consumer adoption started. But then for enterprises, it's a no-brainer. It's a higher productivity, higher velocity. You can create new business models. So that's how they are trying to adopt in their existing workflow. If you are an AI native company, you are starting with AI, you are lucky. Wow. If you are a mature, established company, then you have existing processes. It takes time to bring about a new paradigm.
But a little technical debt.
Yes.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I think that's going on, but everyone realizes the importance, and I think it's just a matter of time.
What are some of the new business models that you think are proliferating because of artificial intelligence?
So I think I look at it, is it making you better, faster, and smarter? So think of it like that things that were taking a lot more time can be done at click of a button now. So then the productivity goes up. The information is at your fingertips now. You can, what used to, like the research that used to take you days can be done in minutes. So everything is becoming faster, smarter, and that applies to pretty much every business model. But that's just on the efficiency side. But the other side is new business models. Like how do you create new offerings for your customer that can create new top line growth for the company? So I think companies will do both. They will do the efficiency and operational improvements using AI, but they will also looking at how AI can be a tool to generate additional revenue, target segments that they were not targeting before, offer products that they could not build before.
That's very smart. You know, so if research is essentially become a commodity, what does that mean for the Tatas, for the Boston Consulting Groups, for the Deloittes? What is that? Sorry if that's a little spicy, because I know that it's going to be a big shakeup.
Yeah.
And in fact, my understanding is that there was 60 billion of market cap that was wiped off the map for a lot of these companies in the last 12 months. So what does the future hold, do you think?
So it's hard to predict. I think anybody who's predicting AI future, I think we'll have to revisit what he or she said. But one thing is true, you always look at the history to predict the future. So there's a picture that reminds me that there's a picture of Macy's Day Parade in 1906, and it was all horse carriages, and there was another picture in 1917 or 1916, so all Ford Model T. So 10 years the world changed, and this time we are changing every month. So I think it's very hard to predict what will happen in the future, but one thing is there, that it is a disruption. So if you are not using AI, you will be replaced.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is, and then there's talk about 1% unicorn. So it's highly plausible that a very small company with few individuals can create an offering of value worth hundreds of millions of dollars, even billions of dollars. So that's just a paradigm shift. The world is changing, new rules are being written, and we have to accept the fact. You can't fight the change. Whoever fights the change will be left behind. You have to adapt it.
I love how you say that. You say stand in front of the train of innovation and you're going to get run over. So you might as well learn from it and leverage it. In fact, that's kind of the foundation of the show. It's obvious. Like, let's use technology to become the best versions of ourselves, have fun, make money, and have a positive impact on the world.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, Faisal, you're doing the same with TechCon. How can folks learn a little bit more about what you're building? Maybe a website, or how folks can maybe attend your events?
Yeah, so the website is techconglobal.com, techconglobal.com. All the events are listed there. We have 100+ speakers, leading thought leaders across the industry from across the country, and we are adding more every day. Look forward to seeing you in Austin, or San Francisco, or San Diego next year.
You got a lot of fun parties coming up, folks. Excited to hang with you guys. Faisal, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of AI Infra. What's up, everybody? We're here with Ray Sika from Sense AI. Thank you for joining us at the AI INFRA Summit. We're having fun.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you, Nick, for having me. And I watch Silicon Zombies all the time. And
oh my God.
To, see you guys here.
We're famous. This is crazy. Well,
I have something to say about zombies. It's only when you get bored and you are in that zombie land, you get the craziest idea. And that's how we have OpenAI now.
I love that. You know, the Mongolians have a similar phrase that in order to have vision, you need to see a clear horizon, which I think works from the steppes of Mongolia, but also to the Pacific Ocean. Yeah. And so here we are in San Francisco. And Ray, tell us a little bit about what you're building. You've got a really fascinating background from ag to tech and now into the infrastructure space.
Yeah, I'm with a company called Sense AI Platforms, and we are looking to speed up logistics, solve the problems you have waiting for stuff everywhere. I have a diverse background which brought me here. And right now we have challenges in building AI infrastructure, and that's what we are solving. But before that, I actually ran a blueberry company.
Yes.
You know, berries.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah. People love berries and they want them all the time. But I was running this operation, and every Saturday afternoon when I want to get some break, I get a call from Costco, Safeway. Look, we don't have our berries reaching our stores. So the challenge was there was issues with tracking, issues with logistics, and I thought there got to be a better way to do it.
Yeah.
Why don't we use sensors, technology? I was a technologist, so we put devices in the supply chain, and now with AI, we put agents in the supply chain. What it does is, it can book a truck for you, it can track the order, it can update the status, so customers, when they come to the store, they can get their batteries.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And so that way, and now in the afternoons, you can rest a little bit rather than having to worry about solving problems.
No rest for me.
Okay.
The biggest problem we have now, which is again a logistics challenge, is rollout of manufacturing in US and rollout of data centers.
Oh, because you guys are growing like crazy with customers like Tesla. Sorry, are we allowed to say that?
Well, we can say the largest EV manufacturer.
Sure.
Software.
Yeah.
We work with semiconductor equipment companies. We work with one of the largest retailers in US. Everywhere, what we learned was how to solve optimization problems. And you know, where is the biggest optimization bottleneck today? It's in building the data centers. Everybody is waiting for their GPUs, waiting for their compute access. So that's where we are bringing our technology, which has been tried and tested in manufacturing and retail, to the data center market.
I see. So you learned from ag, and now that's being applied to data and infrastructure, which is a brilliant space. And it seems like energy is also, it seems to be in short supply. How is this affecting you building your business, Ray?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because cooling in the data center, right, is related to, imagine keeping the berries cool. Previously, we were keeping our food cool. Now we have to keep our computers cool.
That's right, because they're working so hard.
They're overworked, right?
Yeah.
So this kind of energy bottleneck is hitting us all, but there are technologies like cooling, cryo cooling, as well as I saw simple things like just putting a diamond layer on a server. You know, diamond is kind of insulator, so you don't lose the temperature out there and keep your...
Wow, that sounds expensive though. Is it a diamond composite? Or does it have similar properties, or how does that work? I'm curious.
Yeah, so simple experiment. So I said diamond can cut through ice faster than any other metal. Just try that, right? So it can go through the conductive layers. So similar to that, there are other technologies in speeding up availability of energy infrastructure. When we rolled out LTE cellular networks, right? It was a big infrastructure problem. Now we are rolling out the next network, which needs power, which needs GPU, which needs spares, which needs availability of this talent. Who will tie all these cables? So we need people who can do the cabling. We need electricians.
Sure.
So that's where we are capturing data on how this infrastructure is being built, so you don't have wastage and wait time. Anytime you are waiting, that's where you are losing.
Sure.
We want US to win in this AI arms race. And part of it is to bring newer technologies like drones to map the infrastructure, map the survey, sensors to measure the temperature and the environmental condition in a data center, GPS tracking devices to track the servers that are showing up on site, AI to match the manifest of what you ordered versus what you open up. Imagine a third-party supplier, they change some component. Now the server, which was to give you so many petaflops of compute, is not really serving your needs.
Sure.
So how do we make sure that the parts you are getting are the ones you order? So these are some things we are helping with, and there could be more tomorrow.
So two things. One of which is I got to introduce you to John Khazraee of InvestWise, because I think there could be a really neat partnership between you guys. In fact, John was just on the show earlier this morning. And the second one, Ray, I want to throw you a curveball, if that's okay. What happens when one of these agents is maybe hallucinating, or it kicks off an order form or orders a truck that it wasn't supposed to? Does this ever happen? Maybe there's checks and balances in place. What are some of the concerns that folks might think to address in this scenario?
Yeah, and that's very important. Even worse is agents can delete your data, right? So what we have done is we have put these guardrails and this whole layer. That's actually the value of a company like Sense AI, which is the learning, the domain knowledge, and all the guardrails around the AI. Otherwise, AI is available to everyone, from OpenAIs of the world, Geminis of the world, right? But it's really people like us who understand what is allowed. Like in this industry, they say 10-4. What does that mean, 10-4? If I put 10-4 to a AI chatbot, they would not know. But in logistic, it means it's all okay.
Okay, 10-4. I gotcha.
So we got 10-4.
So context is important.
Context is important.
The guardrails. I mean, help us understand a little bit of the technical applications of guardrails. Like we all know what it means. Like imagine we're bowling and we got guardrails, right? Maybe the bumper ones that bounce back and forth.
Right.
What does that look like in a data model, Ray?
Be a simple thing. Suppose you order berries, right? Don't say, if you put an order for 10,000 pounds of berries, it's a simple guardrail. What is the maximum range of an order size?
Acceptable.
Right, acceptable. Right?
Okay.
So I would say common sense, right? And which is based on our own experience. Right? So other guardrails can be don't delete the data. Guardrails for fraud. How do you detect fraud tomorrow? Because there is a lot of fraud in logistics as well. People can order a whole truck, show up as a driver, and then take trucks of your computer chips away. You hand them the product. Right?
Yeah.
So how do you check that the person who's supposed to be here is the same person? So AI
And also has the right quantity and the timing.
And AI can check the license of the document and the person and match them. AI can, using Vision AI, count the boxes that are being loaded, keep a record. So all these learnings and rules go into the Sense AI platform.
My God, it's just brilliant what you're building. And, Ray, your background in the ag space, I think has given you the opportunity to build something really pretty unique with Sense AI. How can folks learn more? Is there a website that you'd like to share? Or maybe how can folks get in touch with you on LinkedIn?
Yes, yeah. So it's really what I learned, I want to give back by sharing and by building products that are useful to the industry. Our website is www.sensitel.com. And you can also
Can you spell that for us too?
Yeah, it's SENSI, T as in Tom, EL, sensitel.com or sense.biz. And you can also look me on LinkedIn, Resika Sensitel.
Beautiful. Well, Ray, you did so good here. I want to throw one more curveball. Where do you think? I think you're going to be fine. Where do you see the space going in the next 6 to 12 months? We know that agents are beginning to be adopted. Well, what is the future of supply chain and logistics look like?
Yeah, I think today we are hearing OpenAI may not have the money and there is concern. But in reality, I think we are just on the, I would say, fourth inning of AI. We're just getting started. So far, the challenge was there was not enough data. But in some domains now, particularly in coding, there is data. So coding, software developers are able to save so much time and coding use case is solved. Okay, so we have done coding. Now
through like Claude or these kinds of things. Yeah, sure.
So similarly, now we move to next thing, let's say invoice reconciliation or accounting, right? So fields that are very structured, which have very well-specified data, and where computers can understand that data, those fields are being nailed down.
But what percentage of data is structured versus unstructured, roughly, would you guess?
Yeah, in logistics, I would say it's still low. Maybe like 60% of interactions are captured in some data somewhere.
Sure.
So that's why we need sensors to get real world data as well. So we need growth on both sides. Real world sensor, physical AI, feeding rich data that will reduce the reality gap, and then agentic AI using that data to increase US productivity more productivity we have, more manufacturing comes back to US. So
I
that's
see.
the flywheel.
Oh wow! So this is actually it's a national security and a prosperity thing for economics. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we did it.
You mentioned a little bit about the OpenAI thing. It's interesting to me that their last reported earnings, I believe, is 14 billion, and they're making 1.2 trillion dollars in commits. But maybe their revenue is a little bit higher. But it's showing that they're very confident in their future growth with partners like Microsoft. Maybe that's a pretty fair bet. What do you think about the lay of the land in that category?
I am not the one here to predict. I have no knowledge of their business, but I know I'm in Silicon Valley, and here we create the future. We don't predict the future. So
like
I can see that Sam is on top of it,
Yeah.
and others are on top of it.
Don't bet against Sam, right?
So it's very simple. Are you going to bet against Elon? Are you going to bet against Sam now? So I don't think so. So we shall see.
Sure, beautiful. Well, this has been fun. I feel like we covered the deep technical pieces, current events, your business, the future. This has been so fun. Ray, you're the man. Really appreciate you.
Great to have you.
Okay, and enjoy the rest of the AI infra.
Thank you.
Welcome everybody. We are here at the AI INFRA Summit with Gurtu. Gurtu, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's exciting to be here.
Yeah, so the day is going by like crazy. There's a ton of energy, and there's been a ton of really smart people that are telling us about cool projects that they're working on. Is there anybody that you've been particularly impressed by?
Yeah.
Maybe some cool tech? Help us understand what you're excited about.
Yeah, the first session I attended was by women in AI. It was really interesting as they were talking about like these different parameters you have to look at when you think about capacity. And they were talking about like we are at day one, first minute of this AI revolution.
Yeah.
So there's lots to like, it's good to be here. Good to be learning about new things. Then I met another really cool person who's working on his whole focus is they have a foundation. His name is Bridge Singh. And what they're doing is they're enabling companies, whatever they're working on, but to help with workforce development. Because one of the major things we're talking about AI is like there's this scarcity mindset, right? Like humans are going to lose their jobs. It's like, how do we, again, keep those jobs and help humans work? And then obviously, I'm looking for people who are working in climate or health, given my role at Maroon Research Institute. Yeah.
And Nikki Gastineau.
Yeah.
Wonderful group.
Yeah.
There's another gentleman that I think could be interesting for you to meet, Lawrence Beeman, who's working in the textile space. So we'll be sure to connect you to Lawrence. But just getting back to some of the different the people, the technologies that you've been learning about. What do you think things are going to shake out in the next, say, 3 to 6 months? I know it's so difficult to predict.
Yeah.
Having a lot of the conversations with folks that see the bleeding edge, where do you think things will continue to develop from a product perspective?
Yeah. So again, there's so much to absorb here. I think what I'm hearing here is like people are really focused on like as more and more people go from like training the model to like now what they're calling like reasoning or inference, how the usage of the GPUs will change.
Sure.
And so there was a talk about capacity and how we can. There was a company, I remember, they're one of the sponsors here. They talked about how their technology can actually increase the capacity of the GPU and then lower the cost, because the way they augment by taking whatever you like, say you put in a query into ChatGPT and you upload your tax returns, for example, and you ask it a question.
Sure.
Right now, every time, my understanding is it recomputes if you were to do that. What their solution was like, we can put it in memory, an augmented separate memory, and then it doesn't take that much time to do it.
More juice from the squeeze.
Exactly, which was interesting to hear.
That is cool. It's like efficiencies in many different layers.
Yeah.
You mentioned Ritu, the workforce development, which is on one hand, like I understand there's
kind of like this existential fear of about AI replacing jobs. However, if we look throughout history, we know that when we went from from the horse carriage to the Model T, they had to hire all those people to build a Model T and make those parts and ship them and sell them. So it almost feels like the dearth of jobs might be like in the future, but at least for now, we're continuing to build and we're continuing to scale and innovate, and that all means jobs and economic prosperity.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think two things are different, which is probably leading people to think about like, oh, they're going to be less jobs. Is one, there's more information, right? Like when that industrial revolution was happening, it was slow paced. Not everyone knew about it.
Sure.
Now everyone knows about the AI revolution. So there's more talk.
We kind of know what to expect.
Exactly. And then secondly, it does feel like I went through the whole like 2000 Y2K and all the internet boom.
Sure.
But it just feel like it feels it's faster.
It does feel like the pace seems to be
Super fast.
I don't know if that's because we see more products and services coming out, or that seems to be the kind of overall feeling of things are going.
Yeah.
Even if you look at like the historical perspective of like the steam engine to the DVD-ROM and then to the it feels like things are happening faster.
Right.
It's exciting, but it almost kind of feels like a runaway train. To some degree.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. I went to another session. I actually, Tonya, it was Tonya's event.
Tonya Long.
Yeah, her event. I think it was called Frontier AI. And there was this off guy, Michael Acklock, and he's writing a book. And he's thinking about like in this new knowledge economy with AI, how can people be like, how would people live and how do you monetize that knowledge? Like if I'm contributing to the society, do I just get, with my knowledge, do I get paid for that? Not like in a job, but like more like in a different way.
And so just two quick things. It's like when I hear knowledge, is that knowledge that anybody could look up, like that McKinsey used to spend tens of millions of dollars doing research from, and also maybe how do you feel that maybe plays into UBI, Universal Basic Income?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like there are pros and cons to it. I think if the UBI is then connected to some outcomes.
Yeah,
I think
that's a good
because
point.
you need people to be motivated to contribute. I mean, you as humans, we want
human.
to, like what keeps us alive and happy is contributing in purpose, like just income for sake of income. I don't know.
No, I think you're hitting on something that. So first of all, this is awesome. I'm really enjoying this. We talk about technology, new applications, but at its core, those are just really vehicles to express and contribute and to build, and which are inherently human elements. Right?
Yeah.
So what is next for you? Is there perhaps a website that you'd like to plug, or how can the Silicon Zombies community be helpful to what you're building?
Yeah. So I'll plug. So I am the chair of the advisory board from Maroon Research Institute. We are a global research institute accelerating innovation and commercialization of to improve health span. And we are very focused on predictive, preventative health, and also climate being a factor in human health.
Oh yeah.
So
respiratory and all.
Respiratory or even heat. It's like a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there's a lot of intersection. So I'm excited about that.
That's so cool. I heard a story not too long ago about these scientists that were crossbreeding coral reef. Some coral is very subjective to warmer waters. Other coral they're more resilient. So they're crossbreeding them and then putting them in biodegradable little packages and regrowing the coral reef.
Yeah.
This is so cool. And then they're playing underwater speakers of healthy fish sounds.
Yeah.
And it's attracting 50% more fish. So if we can use technology to have a positive impact on nature.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of the really cool work that you're doing.
Yeah, it is. Definitely we can use technology. I think it's more about like what's the mission of the company, right? It is obviously to be sustainable. You need to make a profit. You make money, return your money to investors.
Sure.
But are you making an impact? And how are you making an impact? I think to me, I think it's going to become more and more important. Depending on which future we want to choose.
I like the future that you choose. So let's stick with that. And so you gave a website, and thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate that. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the zombie community?
I love the community. Thank you for all the work Nick and Sandra you're doing and getting all these voices out there, and opinions and thoughts.
Yeah, well, Ritu, we're fortunate to be surrounded by great storytellers and technologists and leaders like yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Nick.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Thanks for having me.
All right.
All right.
Welcome, everybody. We're here with Ritu from 10X, which has done amazing events and podcasts, and you have a really impressive background as a marketing leader. So excited to have you on the show here at AI Infra.
Thank you, Nick. I always love the support you give us and the partnership.
For sure. Yes. Well, it is pretty exciting to be here with Bill and Ignite, and they managed to bring together just a wonderful group of folks.
Absolutely. It's like exploding here in San Francisco, and the infra conference is, the best place to be today.
Yeah. They say San Francisco's back, but I'm not sure it ever really left. Maybe just like hibernation, but the energy is palpable. Speaking of which, it seems to me that energy is a core element of a lot of the AI infrastructure pieces, right? And then, of course, like GPUs and large language models and up to the applications. Have you had a chance to get to meet some pretty fascinating people and technologies today?
Absolutely. No, I think there's so many good partners here. I met ZAKA AI.
Oh, yeah.
They're both, and they're doing some cool stuff for accelerating AI. And then I also met Cruzo, that's doing some vertical stuff, right? And I heard some interesting speeches, right? I think AI and Infra Summit tends to put together a really good set of speakers and conference attendees. So, and I believe there's like 1,000 people or more over here.
It feels like a mini city of like AI infra. And in fact, our dear friend Tonya just gave a wonderful keynote as well.
Yes.
So it's like pretty exciting to see this stuff. When we look back at your growth of 10X, help us understand, how did it start? How have you achieved this kind of runaway success? I mean, your very first event had like 150, 200 people. Unwind some of that content creation engine for us if you can.
Absolutely. So I am the founder and host for 10X Growth Strategies podcast and events. So we started as a podcast 4 years ago, and we were creating episodes that were getting, consumed globally. But then what I saw was a gap locally, bringing together investors, founders, corporates to do business with each other. Like investors wanted to find the right startups to invest in. And then startups obviously always are looking for good investors. And then corporate people can then advise or even join these startups, right? So I brought those three together as part of the 10X community, which is actually 10X since the time we started. And so when we first started, like Nick was mentioning, we had about 200 signups and 100 people came. Not too long ago, beginning of October for SF Tech Week, we had 1,100 signups, and I was trying to see how do I approve people because the size of the venue was 130 people.
Yes.
So we did our best to try to get like 200, 250 people in the room.
Problems.
Yeah, exactly. And and so that was amazing energy. And now we're looking at hosting a lot of events in AI. A different focus, right? Agentic AI certainly is one hot area. Now we're trying to look at how do companies in AI think about idea to exit, right? How do you think about like growing towards and like an M&A right now with these markets? So that's our next event in December. So like if you're interested, do sign up for our Luma 10X Growth Strategies is our community.
So if folks go on Luma and look up 10X, they should be able to find future events.
Yeah, just search for the number 10X Growth Strategies. And then in Luma, they should be able to find out.
I know how important it is to have just an incredible team. And you've done some excellent work with Deep Sani, who's near and dear to my heart. and he's so good, or you both are so good at bringing people together, but having very present conversations. I was particularly impressed at the one that 10X that you hosted. Was it maybe 4 months ago in San Francisco? Right on the corner of Market Street. What was it?
The Dixon Peabody?
Yeah.
Yes.
What a beautiful place.
Yes.
You had a Deo Resi, and it's just was it Lobster Capital?
Yes. That was Silicon Valley Bank Experience Center.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was a really great one that you hosted.
Yes.
What was the ethos or the philosophy behind that particular one that made it just magic?
Yeah, so we were looking at how do we get the best of different communities in Silicon Valley. Like Y Combinator is one that's very well known globally, and this particular event was focused on some of the founders and funders of Y Combinator startups, and we had Lobster Capital come in, and then we had Adeo Resi, who has created the largest set of VCs in the whole world. He's trained so many VCs. So it was an honor to have him as one of our speakers. And that's one thing we've been very fortunate. And I think, like you said, right, having real conversations. We even got the co-founder and past CEO of Poshmark. He's the board member now, Manish Chandra, for our last event, right? So we're trying to get really top-notch speakers to our events now.
Yeah, I love how you get people that are incredibly accomplished and successful, but also down to earth and it's just like fun, good humans to hang out, community minded.
And I think we're very alike that way.
Yes.
I've loved your events and I just,
Yeah. Well, obviously more to come. Is there perhaps a website that folks can check out for 10X growth?
Well, obviously the Luma, but also connect with me on LinkedIn, right? Because I post all my upcoming events. I'm also a fractional CMO working in the venture world and in the startup world. So if you need anything, just, reach out on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I mean, your expertise and your background is so impressive, and your ability to scale communities and connect folks. I mean, this probably comes natural to you, having been the chief marketing officer at not one, but two different organizations that went public. If I went.
So I was running marketing for a climate tech organization, and then another organization that was acquired by PE. And then I was running AI marketing for Freshworks that went public. So I ran the AI, product and the AI, technology platform.
Yeah.
I ran the marketing for them.
So if you want the playbook or the rule book of how to be successful, definitely hire Prithia. And also be sure to attend her events, because parties are underrated. When you bring amazing people together, magic happens, and it's been so cool to watch your community grow.
Thank you so much, Nick. Always appreciate your support.
Enjoy the rest of the AI INFRA Summit, and thanks Bill and T for having us here.
All right.
What's up, everybody? We're here at AI Infra with Filip and Orth from ZAKA VC. Phil, great to see you.
Great to see you, Nick.
You're looking fresh. You got the jacket, you got the sneakers.
Likewise.
It's kind of like the business mullet, I guess you could say.
It's the switch from Patagonia vest and all that too.
Thank God. Thank God. So, Phil, tell us a little bit. You probably got to meet a lot of fascinating people today. What kind of cool tech you see? Have you heard anything fascinating around the AI infrastructure space here at the summit?
Yeah, there's a lot of topics. I mean, for our fund specifically, we invest mainly in biotech and then also deep tech, specifically robotics. And robotics, there's a lot of overlaps with AI infra, whether it's chips or data centers and such.
Yeah.
But for so far, I got here kind of late, so I was just catching up with familiar faces.
It's like a reunion, man.
Exactly.
It's like everybody's. There's almost 1,000 people here.
Oh, wow.
Just
Okay.
kind of pretty insane what these guys have put on.
It's in the middle of a site, which is great to get so many people in the middle of this city. So that's great. But yeah, no, the guys at Ignite, they always do a great events, and it's always great to see people like you. So
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. It's nice when they host like these every 6 months, these big soirees, these big summits, but there's also monthly things that lead up to it. I remember I was at Startup Grind a couple of years back, and one of the speakers, she said something that really resonated with me, Philip. She said, it's just like a product launch. You can do like mini parties to kind of diversify. So that way there's the momentum, and these guys do just the same. Are you seeing something similar in your portfolio companies? Are they releasing product faster? What are they doing to stay close to the customer problem? What are some of the more interesting portfolio companies that you guys get to work with at ZAKA?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, for us, we're maybe not the great example because of biotech being such a long game, and you can see often, of course, iteration happen. I think that's the great part about Silicon Valley, that here it's a normal thing to essentially release. Okay, there's a problem. We reiterate, come back to the customer.
Yeah.
Whereas in Europe, where I'm from, it's kind of not still a thing. A lot of people are perfectionists until the last moment.
Sure.
And then they wait for that release, which never comes. And so I think you have to get used to this mindset in Silicon Valley. And so we see it, with biotech companies, but I think we can see it more on the robotics side.
I see.
Certain applications, if it doesn't work, they go back into it. So we've invested in a couple of robotics companies, but recently it's been mostly in biotech space in multiple categories, whether it's therapeutics, oncology prevention, mRNA vaccines, early detection of diseases like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so you can see some of them like start with animal trials. Of course, they focus on only a specific pet. We just recently saw a company that was focused on cats.
Oh,
But then they maybe eventually want to transform into human, which is not easy, but that's
I love that. Well, there's so much cool stuff to unpack there. I love that. On one hand, you mentioned the European approach to innovation, where it's like it's got to be perfect. This to me is representative of more of like how Apple builds products. Compare and contrast that, Filip, with how Meta operates, where it's like maybe it's not going to be perfect, but it'll be functional, and they're pushing the envelope. And then what they'll do is they'll get the feedback from the customer and bake that into the next iteration and continue to scale. But I also love how you mentioned a little bit about how some of the portfolio companies, hi Tonya, are doing stuff specifically like for a very specific vertical, even like for cats, because transcription is you and I well know is where that's the phase in which a lot of biotech tends to fail, and like 90% is that translation phase, and it's so expensive. So it is cool to focus. I really like the idea of focus.
Yeah, I also, before, like long time ago, when I knew something about startups, I actually thought that it's about having the biggest market right from the beginning, but it's actually, you can see more and more, and it's becoming a worldwide trend, but you have a specific niche because you have limited capital, and you would much more easily be vulnerable by big fish that would have more capital if you would focus on everybody and everything, right? You have to SCP, and the same with biotech, right? You have to specify, and for example, home pets are a big one. Like, people are spending a lot of money on those.
There's more pets in San Francisco than kids. I don't know.
Oh, really? I didn't know. That's a statistic?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense, especially if somebody has multiple already.
Yeah. Or if one lady has like 9 cats.
I was going to say, yeah, that's a good example. Yes.
Well, so it's fantastic on what you guys are doing, and thank you so much for the kind words for Angels. Glad you found that valuable. It's always the quality of the people that come together. In fact, just off camera right now, we've got Tonya Long, who's hopefully we're going to get her next. She just gave a killer keynote as well. So maybe as you kind of wrap up the rest of the day, are there any folks in particular you're excited to meet, or new technologies you want to explore, or what's next for the rest of the AI Summit today?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think folks from AI Infra haven't really stopped by the booths as much. I want to check those out. It always fascinates me on what can be done, especially as a capital-intensive field, and it's super important as we see how much compute power and how much energy is needed for everything that we're using and taking for granted in AI. And then there's a few, I think, sessions I haven't had a chance to go to the main room as much yet.
I hope they're going to be recorded.
From what I heard, yes, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm betting on.
Good.
If I wouldn't be walking around, I wouldn't run into it. Because I see the booth and every event, and I'm like, you're always active with this. I love it.
Awesome. Appreciate it. It's consistency. I think from a content creation space, which is going to be increasingly more important for founders, and you might be seeing this as well. It's like you got to be in front of the camera, and if you can do that in a consistent way, telling your story, that'll be super helpful to just from a visibility. The game has changed a little bit, I'd say.
That's what I like. I think consistency is a big one as well. I mean, Silicon Valley as such, people are consistent. People are really focused, narrow, like tunnel vision.
Yeah,
I think is really important. I'm not saying it's not in other parts of the world, but it's kind of like that example. And I'm not trying to bash on it, but like as while we're talking about 4-day work weeks in Europe, here people are talking about, founders are talking about 996 lifestyle, right? And so I think that discipline, as well as that kind of tunnel vision, is why this region here works, beyond the fact that I think intellectual capacity per square footage.
Sure. Super, yeah. We're hyperscaling the brains here, the delicious brains. So what is the 996?
It's like, I think it's 996. If I didn't mix up the the numbers. It's like working essentially 9 to 9, I believe, and then 6 days a week.
Oh yeah.
Numbers. I'm comparing 4-day work weeks of corporate job.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You need to also balance out. You have to like have a time to decompress and whatnot.
Sure.
I'm not saying that's sustainable forever, but I could definitely appreciate that people are,
There's a time for everything, right? There's a time to do probably 18-hour days, and then there's a time.
I think it's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to sleep sometimes, so I'm not going to say 24/7.
Yeah.
And it's not
For now.
exactly. Yeah.
Until medical site.
Until
In fact, you guys are going to invest in that probably, right?
Bring it about. Next time we meet, we'll be just like connected to some,
Yeah, I love it. Well, maybe is there a website that folks can check out, or is there any particular companies, Philip, that you'd like to plug to the zombie community here?
Yeah, happy to. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, Filip Orth, with an F, and then our website where we're happy to have a look at your companies is ZAKA.vc, so that's ZAKA.vc. You can send out a form, and we'd love to have a look at it.
Great. Well, Philip, always appreciate your energy, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you, you too.
All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? Great to have you here. We're with Tonya Long at the AI INFRA Summit. And Tonya just gave an amazing keynote. Round of applause for, that's so cheesy, but we're gonna roll with it anyway.
I haven't done that in years.
Okay, awesome. Good. Yes.
Glad it's over.
Oh, I can imagine. But tell us a little bit about the practice and the studying. You, of all people, Tonya, put immense attention into everything that you do. You're one of the most thoughtful humans, and then you also have a delicious brain. So we're very lucky to have you on here. Tell us about the talk.
So, I always want to be different.
Yes.
I don't want to just do what everybody else is doing. We're at a conference that's all about GPUs and cooling systems and optimizing your infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
And so I took the angle of optimizing your human infrastructure.
Ooh.
Because my premise, I talked about wisdom last year.
Yes.
And my premise is we're always going to be outpaced on speed and compute by the machines that have evolved. To differentiate ourselves as humans, I want us to start looking at our human tech stack. And I basically brought together hardware, operating system, middleware,
Oh my God.
And I compared that to being a human.
Yes.
And just like we can look at a product and see defects that need hot fixes or upgrades to features or end of life at some point, we also need to apply that to our human tech stack. Because if we look at isolating the problems or what the market now needs, then we can better solve for the people issues that really are what's holding us back.
Yeah.
We don't have a compute issue, we have a leadership issue.
Yes.
But it's not overwhelming. I just don't think we spend so much time thinking about how to improve products to go to market.
Yeah.
But it's the people. We're in market too when our products are in market, and what holds us back is the inability to communicate, to align, to get things done.
My God, I really hope it was recorded.
I think it's going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Well, one of the reasons that I think you're such a remarkable human is you're able to take two unique thoughts and intersect them. Like that idea, that philosophy of treating humans almost like the tech stack. That's like a truly unique thought. And I'm just curious, Tonya, what's the data? Is data the food in that example, or am I just kind of way off here?
You just want brains, right?
Yeah, sure. Or what is the model exist in this?
Data would be in the tech stack.
Sure.
And the human stack is about the data. The data is one of the outcomes, but we're focused now on the speed of learning. We're focused now on flexibility and adaptability.
Yeah.
Because things are moving so fast, we can't be rigid like we were in the past.
Yeah.
And especially when you look at organizations or teams. And for me, in the ecosystems we operate in, I stretch that. That's not just your team of 5 or 500. That's your partner ecosystem that you work with. So your team that you operate with.
Yeah.
How do you get things done with them? How do you adjudicate decisions? How do you prioritize?
Sure.
And it's the human stack.
Yeah.
That is responsible for how well that gets done and how well it carries into market.
Yeah.
And I guess kind of similar to a mesh network where the nodes are constantly improving,
I
right?
keep trying to go people, and you keep rolling it back into the technology.
I want to see how they intersect together. The whole thing is just like fascinating to me. Tonya, have you taken a similar approach at in the investment world where you've had a chance to be building recently?
I learned things about how I need to lead better in the investment world based on pulling this together. I had an idea for a talk, and now I'm like, I'm introspective. I eat my own dog food,
Sure.
right?
It's turning into a book, maybe.
I may stop.
Okay, I don't know. I'll be their first buyer.
As I thought about this, I thought about how we in our fund, we have about 100 advisors.
Yes.
90 portfolio companies and growing.
Yeah, Paul Russo stopped by earlier, in fact.
I saw it. Yeah. I got him his ticket.
Oh, okay. No, not surprised there.
But for us to really grow, we have a human infrastructure. We have a team of 100 people who make decisions about investments, and people see it through their own lenses. That's that middleware layer where communication and culture occur.
Yes.
And the middleware layer is, for me, like my old corporate world in tech. It's the finance guys talk a whole different language than the engineers, and the customer support guys talk a whole different language than both of them, and helping to synthesize those languages and being cognizant of it, building for the languages that need to intersect.
Yeah.
Success.
Yeah.
When you know what the problem is or what you want to improve,
Yes.
then you can focus on building the hot fixes to resolve it.
You know, what comes to me when you say that is like, we need to first agree on terms, because when
100%.
is that kind of how that all works out? Like,
100%.
because the customer service people could be saying one thing, but I think they're saying something completely different. And now we've got like conversational debt. We got to like rewind to get back to where we ought to be.
100%.
But if you start fresh, maybe that's a better foundation, huh?
Culture is about everybody. It's not about one cultural czar coming in and saying, "Oh, I'm going to lead us all to alignment." No. We have to all be involved in setting what that means. So those
Decentralized. Ooh, okay, I like that. I like
coming together. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, beautiful.
No, you're right. And I'll say this. I don't know if this will, make it off the cutting room floor, but everyone has to participate.
Yeah.
This is not about the top-down leadership that I grew up in.
Yeah.
Where people make brilliant decisions and push it down on teams. This is about bringing everybody to the table, and that's why that common language has to occur.
I see.
Because let's let people know what we're contributing to.
Yeah.
Right? Don't just layer it over them and say, this is the new culture.
And then you get buy-in, which means adoption's faster.
Right.
Maybe ChatGPT was part of that transition, right? What was that part of your talk?
I used ChatGPT in my talk.
Okay.
I use Slido, which is a thing for the audience to put ideas on their phone that makes it to the slides.
Yeah.
But I took a point where I took all that data, pushed it into ChatGPT with a prompt, and it synthesized a human infrastructure blueprint. So it took like 30 input points where people had put things in on their phones about their ideas for the human intersections with technology, and it synthesized all. And I asked it to give us 5 areas of the human blueprint.
Yes.
For our organization that was in the room.
Yeah.
And then I talked about how, you see, this wouldn't have happened without us, without humans.
Yes.
AI can help us to synthesize and automate it. It can make it better even.
Yeah.
But it starts with us.
Yeah.
And it starts with everyone's ideas being used to bring something into full view.
And you're doing an amazing job of that with your podcast and your radio show, because you're giving everybody a voice, and that must have been a pretty cool process to be part of and seeing it grow.
It has not been what I expected. I have had the most remarkable conversations.
Yeah.
And you know how that is. You've been doing this longer than I have. But I have met the most beautiful people that aren't in tech, that are looking at how the world works and how they contribute to and show up.
Yeah.
And it has really, I tried to do a non-technical podcast. It has leaned pretty technical at times because that's my space.
Sure.
But the conversations and the thoughtfulness of people about where they've been and where they want to go with us as a human race have been just absolutely I mean, they've
Heart-centered
been so heart-centered.
Yeah.
And I think at some point I'm going to look back and this body of work
Yeah.
is going to be one of the more important things that I've done.
My God. Well, it is kind of neat that technology keeps innovating and developing, but in reality, it's causing us to shift back to what humans do best, which is storytelling, connecting, learning, understanding, and having that tech be a vehicle for us to, make money, have fun, tackle big societal problems and build systems.
And people don't have a chance to tell their story. Can't tell you. I mean, there's a lot of men in my life, so I would say my audience has been probably 70-80% men. And they'll always call me afterward and say, my wife listened to the podcast and she said, honey, you've never told me those things. How did she pull that out of you?
So you got that, folks. Tonya Lon is saving marriages now too through her work in technology.
But it's an honor because they felt like they were able to give birth to their ideas in ways, and that's why they're just so remarkable, because they had a chance to commit to what they've been thinking. And I think some of them will go take action on it now that it's out there for the world, now that they had the opportunity to say it. And
so it's almost like you're giving them, I don't want to say you're not giving them permission, but you're like validating them to take that next step. And when we launched Ageless for the first year, it was terrifying, but Bill Berry had said, you know what, take the leap, just do it, and everything's going to work out, and trust and rely on, Bill leverage the support of the community. And frankly, that was the defining moment that made us feel like, you know what, we're going to do it. So thanks to Bill for that.
Thanks to Bill for helping you birth that.
Exactly.
A very, very good friend of mine. I had my first introductory call with him, and it ran like an hour and a half. We were scheduled for 30 minutes, and at the end, he just kind of sat there numb, and he said, I feel so seen.
Yes. I wonder who that was. Well, life is good.
And
life is good when you get to
collaborate.
Yes.
When you get to fully collaborate with what your heart has.
Yes.
Not just because so many times when we collaborate, it's how to build a better water bottle.
Sure.
And when it's open and you just get to talk about your ideas.
Yes.
That's when the growth really happens.
Yeah. Plus, it's a journey you're going on collectively, and I'm so curious how maybe we'll save this for chapter 2, but how the quantum realm would be impacting the.
Yes.
That's craziness right there. Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah.
Here, it's coming, and we should make that chapter 2 of this conversation.
Yeah.
I think we're evolving conversations now that I think are laying the groundwork for what's to come and how the world evolves.
Yeah.
Smaller and smaller, and depending on what Atlas does.
Sure. Yeah.
Atlas, the whatever.
The guy with the.
No, talking about the comet, meteor, spaceship. That's so.
Now it's getting juicy.
Yeah, now it's getting juicy. So where's Corey? Is Corey Wakefield here? Corey, where are you? Let's have this conversation.
That's right. Well, Tonya, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're amazing. And be sure to check out Tonya's radio show if you want to share a website or how folks.
Reset podcast, and it's on 92.9 KPCR 92.9 out of Los Gatos. It's kpcr.org online, so you can go back and watch old episodes online at kpcr.org.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Tonya, and great to see you, and love you too. And keep enjoying the AI INFRA Summit here.
I've got people to see, things to do.
That's right. It's time to rock and roll. Okay. Thanks, Tonya. Cheers. Hey everybody, here we are at AI Infra with Paul Tran of Supermicro. Great to have you back, Paul.
Definitely good to see you again.
Likewise. So tell us a little bit about today's been kind of just a ton of energy and a lot of wonderful people. Were there any particularly interesting technologies or humans that you got to learn about today?
I mean, this is our second time here at Keyvan here in San Francisco, so it's good to be back. And great venue, great energy. Lots of people, right? I think we're about 800 something people this time.
Which is huge.
Yeah, exactly. Some big, big visible companies like LinkedIn, Meta, our customers, Crusoe, Vulture, and TensorWave here, part of the panel. So I mean, there's a lot of great content, a lot of good people from small AI companies, capital venture capitalists, enterprises, large enterprises.
The entire ecosystem. So you mentioned Crusoe. I keep seeing these guys around. Tell me a little bit more about what they do.
So Crusoe, they started off as a Bitcoin mining company, and then went into HPC/AI, and now they're building some of the world's largest AI factories. One of them is in Texas. I think you might have heard for Stargate.
Oh, okay.
AI. So
that is like
massive.
$1 trillion project or something crazy.
Not a trillion.
Okay, maybe half a trillion. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Probably at least several billion, right? At least for the data center, but all the compute that goes in there, that's going to be quite a bit too.
Yeah, sure. So help me understand how Supermicro is able to drive value and help with their compute, with their go to market.
I mean, from a value, I mean, we provide the highest quality, GPU clusters.
Yeah.
Servers, racks, direct liquid cooling, air cooled, whole entire racks with compute, networking, and storage. We don't just build it; we also deploy it. We get involved in on-site installation and deployment, and helping it bring it up to transfer to fastest time to online.
That's incredible. And it's really fascinating to me how you guys are able to cool down the GPUs, because that's like when you're running something super high. I mean, just like an automobile, things you're gonna have to cool it down after a while, just because you're pushing a lot of power through it.
A lot of heat. Heat, exactly.
So what was the original idea or philosophy? I mean, that was kind of like a quantum leap in managing the hardware, so you can continue powering these models that are like everywhere in every stack, right?
Yeah. I think liquid cooling's been around for decades, right? But our CEO, our founder Charles Liang, he really focused on it, because if a few years back, CPUs were getting more powerful, and the GPUs were getting more powerful, and as that power increases, temperatures increases. So he started building liquid cooling into our servers very early on, keeping it at a cool temperature, and actually not just the noise level at the DCs, but also with liquid cooling allows the companies our customers to keep the performance, but also the longevity of those servers. So that way it gives you greater TCO and
I see.
greater opportunity for revenue.
So the mean time between failure gets better, the total cost of ownership. That's pretty cool too, because because the market keeps expanding. So there's got to be just a million new ways for you guys to monetize and drive new insights and drive new value for your customers as well.
Yes. And to talk about more value, like, we're not just a hardware company. We don't just build and sell hardware. We also provide services, but also software solutions. As Thomas mentioned, we have a software solution that handles GPU as a service, or bare metal as a service, not just for neo clouds, but also for enterprises or organizations that want to be able to splice and schedule and allocate GPU resources to different entities, and how to bill for that too.
What would be the use case though, Paul, from when you said bare metal as a service, which is, I think, like a pretty fascinating idea, where they just want the GPUs, they don't want to have to deal with the actual data center management, and because that's a whole job in and of itself.
Yeah, there's a lot of software that needs to be developed for that. So that's one of the things that we're very strong technically. So we developed the software solution to address that gap.
I see. Well, you certainly get to attract the smartest people. In fact, when I had a chance to talk to all the different people today, the Supermicro team, you guys got some of the brightest bunch in the biz, which is pretty great.
At least half of our workforce are considered technical. So we're a very strong engineering, technically centric organization.
That's incredible. So what do you see for the future of AI in the next like 6 to 12 months? Is obviously the agentic infrastructure continues to grow, a lot more autonomy. Do you think consumers are going to be managing agents that are doing the actual work, or what does the future of work look like, do you think?
I think people are going to start using more agentic AI. Actually, they're going to start using, I think, more physical AI too.
Oh, you mean like robotics?
I just bought myself a robotic home vacuum and mop machine.
No way.
Yeah, and actually,
have you tried it out yet?
Started using it. I feel so futuristic. And
Yes.
I'm like, wow, this is interesting.
My God.
The question is, if and when I buy a humanoid to do certain things, that's going to be like.
Well,
I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Well, Neo just came out. Supposedly they started eating some of the lunch of Tesla. We'll see. We'll see if that happens.
Interesting, but yeah. I think in the next 6 to 12 months, people are going to start, individuals, consumers, but also enterprises. But it's going to take a little while. But it's going to be a very interesting AI world.
Well, you heard it here from Paul Tran of Supermicro. 2026 is the year of robotics. Paul, is there any way that folks can connect with you on LinkedIn, or maybe is there a website that you'd like to share with?
Just look up Paul Tran at LinkedIn, Supermicro. All right.
Beautiful. Well, hey, thanks again for the support and helping make today a reality.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah,
this is fun.
man.
And shout out to Bill and the AI INFRA Summit team. Cheers.
All right, cool.
Cool. All right, we're here at AI Infra. We got Kayvan from SignalRank. Pretty excited to have you here. So maybe tell us about some fascinating people that you got to parlay with earlier today. Or what's today been like for you?
Well, today for me is all about, actually it's a very unique conference because it's one of the first conferences that has the right size to have some good quality people in it and enough good, corporations and startups, and so it's a nicely curated event.
Yeah, that's true. The high quality people, not too big where it feels like impersonal.
Right.
But you still get to, you probably know half these people anyway.
I know a lot of them.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's a great venue too.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of natural light and good flow.
Good people. I know when the zombie boys are here.
That's right.
It's a good place.
That's right. That's the place to be.
Quality standards and benchmarks have been met.
I like to set the bar low myself.
You do.
So but joking aside, you're kind of a pillar in the valley here. Maybe help us understand a little bit about your background and plug and play and building billion-dollar tech companies. You got quite a nose for finding unicorns, finding and funding unicorns. So maybe give us a little bit of the lay of the land here, if you could.
Sure. This is from my perspective, obviously. So I'm not, preaching anything. But as you know, I was the founding CEO of Plug and Play, and there's been a couple of waves that kind of were very exciting.
Cloud, maybe.
Cloud was one of them, and I have a funny story about cloud. But yeah, so cloud was one, the mobile app store was the other, and now AI. And so for me, it's just an evolution of innovation here in Silicon Valley. And what you're going to see is, some really hot companies and some duds.
Sure.
And the more activity there is in the industry, the more duds there are. So we understand that. And so we built a fund, a venture capital fund, that basically takes away the duds.
Sure.
From looking at an investment perspective. And so SignalRank is 100% data-driven venture capital fund.
Yeah.
In 2 years, we made 40 investments, another 5 in the next 2 months. We're the second most active Series B investor globally, behind Andreessen Horowitz. And our performance is 95th percentile.
That's incredible.
So, and that's just in 2 years. So I think AI is, what our role, the way AI helps us is to filter all the crap.
But this shouldn't be rocket science. VC is supposed to be risk capital, finding the most innovative companies, but using data to pick the winners. My God, you guys are like pretty much the only game in town.
Well, we are the way we do it. And I think what makes us different, a lot of investors, they're focusing on, the company data, which is important. We know that's important, but we also know that there are some great funds that do that. So our AI follows the performance and the behaviors of the top funds in the world.
So are you going to white label it all, or?
We don't white label, but we're giving access to anybody who wants to invest in venture capital. I don't know of another fund that anyone who wants to invest in venture capital can exclusively co-invest with Andreessen Horowitz, Lightspeed, Khosla, Sequoia, and all your deals.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. So that's what we figured out.
So you give the ability to sidecar on all the juicy stuff, but that requires allocation.
It requires allocation, and so we also have access. We also have a unique way of allocating also. And Andreessen Horowitz does not need our money.
Sure.
Right? They're going to take as much as they can. However, what's happened is two good things have happened right now. One is the Andreessen Horowitzes of the world, their funds are just getting bigger and bigger by the year, right? And so what's happening is they have to put in more money, and they're doing less. Now they have speed run, which is, let's say for Andreessen Horowitz, they have speed run. So they're doing some activity there, but really they're banking on the ecosystem to feed them the companies. Because good seed investors would be a great platform for these funds, and they can focus on A and beyond, because just the fund economics mandate that they need to deploy more capital. So, I don't care how big you are, you're still limited by the people that you have. So what we do is, we are 100% data driven. We know where the power law of venture is being applied to the top funds in the world and who they co-invest with and everything else. And as a result, we have to score every single round of investment at every stage in every sector globally.
And the scoring will continue to get more refined and more nuanced.
It is. We're on version 4 right now.
Okay. Well, so let's get back to how these larger funds are maybe impacting the markets that they're investing in. It feels deleterious to some effect. Like if these funds are capitalizing so many different companies, and just like you said, power law, most of them are going to be duds. Maybe they're artificially inflating the number of companies in a specific space. So maybe they're creating more competition for the companies that they decide to invest in. Doesn't it seem like at some point you got to pump the brakes, even if you're Andreessen, and not do so many deals?
Well, I think the way we kind of see what's happening, especially when you talk about
my camera woman is over here is saying she wants to get this angle of us too. All right, hey, we're in a good conversation. Quit harassing us here. Don't worry about her. I know she's a beautiful Colombian. But
listen, you know what? Never mess with a beautiful Colombian. That's what I've learned.
She will cut you.
They are good with their hands. Nice.
Sorry, anyways, you're saying about the market impact of big companies like Andreessen.
So, this is the nature of venture capital, right?
Yeah.
It's risk versus return, and it's by stage. So when you are investing in a pre-seed or seed company, you are anticipating a lot of risk, but the few ones that do pay out, they're going to have big multiples on the returns and so forth.
50 bagger, 100 bagger.
And it goes on, and the returns become less, so to speak, as you go through the different stages of investment. So for us, we like to identify companies at Series A and then validate the potential of them becoming a unicorn with the term sheet they get at Series B, and that's how we go in. So, but to answer your other question, it's all numbers. It's a numbers game.
Sure, mathematics saves the day.
Right.
So if we look at venture capital, Kayvan is doing 3 things. Finding the horse, helping the horse run faster, and selling the horse.
Right.
You guys are best in class at finding them.
Right.
How are you going to help them run faster? How can you create an ecosystem to drive more deals, to help them with hiring, I don't know, adopting technology?
Right. Good question. And you almost led perfectly to what I wanted to talk about.
Okay, it's almost like we planned this. Yeah.
So for us, we've created, or at least I've created, an organization which is what I call a venture hub, and it's called the thinktank.vc, and it's in downtown Menlo Park.
It's beautiful. I've been there myself.
Isn't it kind of cool?
It feels very futuristic.
It is futuristic, and what we're really we're doing is taking the data at SignalRank, identifying some companies early on, getting to know them, bringing other investors that we like and that we score very well with us, and just help them through the services. So, have banking partners, marketing partners, CFOs, whatever they need, we'll have it as a resource, and that's kind of really, and the person who does that model the best, in my opinion, and has been doing it really well for at least 10 years, is Andreessen Horowitz.
Okay.
And it's no surprise they're the #1 fund in the world.
Yeah.
Because of the holistic view they take towards supporting their founders. And so I love what they do. We started doing something like this at Plug and Play, but it's more of a spray and pray model. The think tank is going to be more of a targeted, curated way of supporting these companies and using AI to filter, and not only that, but to help the founders understand where they fare in terms of their peers, their competitors, and what's going on in the industry. So the intelligence that we bring to our model, I think, is what sets it apart.
Did you have a similar bite at the apple with Plug and Play as far as taking a data-driven approach? Well, I guess back then,
back then, you had dinosaurs, man.
Oh, come on now.
Work in a camel.
Things changed so quickly, is what I mean to say. And we just didn't have sufficient data or models to be able to kind of predict what was going to be a winner.
Exactly. So, when you think about any sort of investment, there is data that's important, right? You're looking at the financial model, you're looking at the sales results, you're looking at the hiring plan.
What about a chemistry between the team? Like you've got Keith Tier,
right?
Is a co-founder. I mean, Keith, by the way, co-founder of TechCrunch. Like he was on Zombies before. He's a genius.
Yeah, he is.
So
a genius.
I don't know how you managed to land that.
Well, I drive him around a lot.
Well, that's the secret, I guess.
Build relationships.
Okay.
No, talking about 20 years full circle.
Yeah.
Tomorrow there's an AI event. It's like AI Summit I forget the.
Sure.
And it's happening tomorrow at Plug and Play.
Yeah.
And so today it was a 2-day conference, even though I'm here.
Yeah.
But I won't be here because today Said was an opening keynote, and I'm the closing at that event at Plug and Play. So I think it's kind of funny how the world's kind of just like
full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah. And Said actually was just one of the keynotes at a summit in San Jose State that I got to MC a couple weeks back.
Nice, yeah.
So it's just neat that you guys are still giving. Let's be real. You could retire if you wanted to, but that's not the point. Like you want to keep, you want to stay in the game and having an impact and growing and be part of the movement.
Well, you know what it is. This is not a job.
Yeah.
When you do it as long as I've been doing it, and God knows how many mistakes I've made over the years. But
we're talking business, right?
Well, that too.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I'm becoming. I love what I'm learning from talking to the founders, by looking at how fundings are going, talking to corporations. Until this brain functions, I'll do this.
Sure.
That's kind of.
And you know what? And we'll keep taking it. Because you're passing the torch, but you're also making new torches. So
you always
it clearly gives you a lot of joy.
You got to push yourself, right?
Yeah.
When I left Plug and Play and I started GSV Labs, I said, how could we improve what we did at Plug and Play? Not that there was anything wrong with Plug and Play. And then when I sold GSV Labs, and now we started SignalRank and the think tank, I said, how are we going to be different than the previous time? Because if we don't evolve, we should not be advising people.
That's a good point.
I'm always pushing it, as far as I can to help myself and the founders.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We're taking it to the limit.
Done, man. It's a wrap.
We did that on the first take. All right. Well, and is there maybe a website you want to give a shout out to the folks here?
Yeah. So for those of you who want to invest in the best series B in the world, co-invest for the top funds. Go up to www.signalrank.com. And for those of you who want to be in a community of very smart, passionate founders and investors, go to the thinktank.vc.
Beautiful. Well, much appreciated, Kayvan. Great to have you. All right, cheers.
Good, man. Thanks.
Okay, cool.